I would very much like to see your Mujushin Kenjutsu style. Show me the student able to take down Inshiro Maria.
Alright, y'all.
How is it that you know about that?
I think we are good to go.
I see. You're
In
with
the
ship.
dungeon, man. We good.
Tried to fade that out. That audio player is terrible.
You see, you're not rocking with the audio player?
No, I wanted to fade it out. That did not go smoothly. Alright. Alright, you see everything?
Hey, man, y'all see everything, man. I'm good.
Cool, cool.
I shouldn't be starting off with that. Hold on, let me put that down. Hey. I didn't even realize I had it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even realize I had it. I'm good. I'm good, man.
Well,
Stop
what's up?
playing around.
What's up, everybody? Not that anybody's watching this yet, I don't think, but my name
Man,
is
they trickle in, man.
Aaron
Trickle in.
Tricklein. This is my buddy Chris McLeod. We used to work together at GameStop. Chris was third key.
Hey, man, back in the day, man. You know, hence the name. Hence the name. Third key, man. Everybody, welcome, man. It's our first time actually publicly speaking together. This is the pilot. This is number 1 of the Third Key podcast.
This is number 0.
Oh yeah, you're right. 0.0.5. Yeah. Resident Evil.
So yeah, Chris and I usually, I don't know, we catch up every few months over the phone, and we end up talking for like 3, 4, 5 hours just about everything, games, media, technology, and we can't stop talking usually. Figured that was a good, maybe that's something that we can share with people. It's pretty, special thing I think we got. So I don't know, man.
Especially the clowns, man. Especially the clowns. People like calling my phone, and ask me about these things. So now I have a place I can tell you to go. And if you want to ask me about this, listen to that. You know,
Yeah,
and you know, we're good to
that's
go.
true. Yeah,
Good to
we'll try to document the topics that we cover, but we'll see how on top of it I will be.
I'm sure you'll be fine. I got complete faith in you, man.
So I don't know, man. How you been since last week? We talked until 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and
Yeah,
planned all
man.
this, and then I didn't even talk to you for a week. But
Hey, man, look, things come together though. You know what I mean? You know, I've been fine, man. Been at the gig. I know you've been at the gig. Seeing all the new news rolling through randomly. Which is why I'm always excited to talk about this stuff. You just don't have any place to do it,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm glad we got a forum to really talk about those type of things now. You know, then we just got to figure out the proper way to transition into those things, so then it doesn't sound like you don't know what you're doing, but it's
Yeah.
okay. But it's
yeah,
okay.
we'll get there.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
I'll
We're gonna do
have
that.
a flashy. I honestly got ideas for an intro video. I'm about to get into video editing and stuff. I want to edit something that looks like you're opening up the gate to the mall store.
Okay.
And then it transitions into the intro, whatever the logo ends up being. I made this logo today, everybody. I made this logo about 2 hours ago.
Hey man, they can't even tell. Look, and the mall store he's referencing is 1043. That was our home GameStop store. Okay, we worked at GameStop together. We can't agree on whether it was 2 years or 3 years. So we're gonna go with three. Um,
I was gonna say
and
I really thought it was a long time. You know what? Speaking of which, I gotta make sure we share. I gotta share this to I gotta
over
share
to
this to
Jay
the
and
homies.
Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay and Justin. So and that was my first foray after college because school for game design. That was my first foray into being around people like myself that weren't from my neighborhood because I was the only guy in my neighborhood with a Dreamcast and they always looked at me with the what the fuck is this face, so it's how it goes.
Mhm.
But anything interesting, Aaron? Anything caught your eye, man, this week? Anything you want to talk about?
Oh, we got plenty, but not that much personally. Nothing personally, I would say. Unless I should think about that before I say that.
Oh yeah, man. No Nintendo Direct news or anything like that, right? Because I know
No, there
that'll
wasn't.
have you jumping off the fucking ground.
They tried to get us to watch it today. They said, "Hey, we got a listen." They said, we're gonna do a Nintendo Treehouse for Paper Mario Origami King," which is like, all right. The Treehouse stuff is usually boring. It's like overly enthusiastic people, um, playing a game and like just faking it up heavy. And then they said, and after that, we have a brand new game from Way Forward, and they're making a game and a new franchise for them. It's not a brand new franchise, but they're making a game for a franchise that they haven't had before. Uh, it was Bakugan.
You talking
So
about the anime?
yeah, like the spinning tops and all that.
They're making a Bakugan game for the Switch. That's the new IP.
Yeah, and it had an overworld where you could walk around, and the character, if he's walking forward and then you said turn right, instead of turning right and walking that way, he would slide and turn while he's walking that way, and it looked horrible. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness, it's a 3D game too. So Way Forward is like Shantae, a Boy and His Blob, Ducktales remastered. They're like the 2D uh, like kings of the current age of games. Like they make some really nice games, but that was.
All right,
uh,
have we been long? We've been on long enough for me to drink this. All right, I'm gonna drink it now. All right, go ahead, man. I'm listening. I ain't gonna do it during the intro. I felt like it was disrespectful.
I mean,
It's
it don't matter. Pilot. Um, Let me mute this. I really got to move this. I'm never gonna see the chat unless I can see this goddamn thing. So I'm gonna do the Surface Book thing here.
I don't know why he's pulling out a Surface Book right now, y'all. So I'm sitting here like y'all are. I
Chat.
didn't even expect this. Oh,
Got
for
it
the
up.
chat. Okay. He got the chat up. Okay. Hit the chat for your mans. Hit the chat for your mans and them.
I gotta be able. You gotta see it, so somebody wants to say something or whatever. All right. I mean, that's not. This ain't too bad, man. I'm running out of space on this desk. All right.
So
That power
honestly,
is a bad spot.
I had nothing in my notes regarding the Nintendo Direct. That was just he's a Nintendo fanboy in case y'all don't know.
It
So
wasn't
like
even. They tried to. My whole point was that they tried to sell it like a direct, and it was not 100%. So.
so they didn't even attempt.
So no,
Okay,
they don't. They
got it.
don't have anything right now.
I mean, they had that shareholder meeting where they basically said they're gonna continue the Switch like going forward. So they kind of said something.
Oh, that was nice. They were like, they admitted mobile is not working. I bet you they wish they knew that before they committed their entire online, infrastructure to a phone app, which nobody liked.
It's about that Mario Run game.
No, like if you so like Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing, what did they have before? Splatoon. They had voice chat, right? But the voice chat was you open up the Nintendo app on your phone and it's like Discord. and it's hooked in with your Nintendo account, and it's like you're currently in a game with these people. Do you want to talk to them? And then you talk to them with a Bluetooth headset connected to your phone or something, which is
It seems counterproductive.
like that's an option maybe if someone had a phone and a Bluetooth headset and they didn't want to buy a gaming headset, but it eliminates all the people who had gaming headsets. So everyone was like, man, nobody wants to do this. And I've never done it, like, ever. Kim's
The
done it.
only time I've done it was like my PlayStation app and my Xbox app, if I just wanted to talk to my friends or something. But that's when I was away from my console.
Right. You don't want to pull it out when you're actually playing the game. The only cool thing I've heard of is my girlfriend used it for Animal Crossing Online, and instead of using the in-game keyboard, because that's the only way you can communicate with anybody, uh, you can pull up the keyboard in game, and then your phone pulls up a keyboard, and you can type on a phone instead of on the game keyboard, which is easier. But so she's the only person typing messages that are more than like 10 letters because she can actually use a phone keyboard for it. But anyways, they're whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect an Animal Crossing explosion. Maybe it's because I'm so locked into like my mature gaming counseling. You know what I'm saying? My mature gaming counseling. We gotta hit that with the air quotes twice. But yeah, man, I didn't expect the Animal Crossing explosion. Like when I saw that, I was like, wow. So
It was a
look,
perfect
man.
storm, man. It was already going to do pretty well, but this pandemic worked out for Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. I see that.
everyone was bored, man, and like Switches sold out whole world, and everyone got into Animal Crossing, even people who were it was like every casual that like played a Wii game or whatever, like Wii Sports or whatever. That exact crowd was like, well, I keep hearing about Animal Crossing. What's that? And then they all were willing to get into it, and then that's all it took. And then they were like, this is fun. And
So,
it has already outsold every Animal Crossing game combined.
well, yes, which
Ever.
doesn't make sense. But it's funny, like it's funny, like you brought up COVID. I mean, COVID's not funny, but it's funny you brought it up because Nintendo's doing well, and I thought we had brought up how big box retailers were gonna do during COVID, and I've really been kind of lost on it, and I wonder if you pondered on that question at all, because I remember us talking about this and like
uh,
hearing Nintendo's doing well, but I'm like, what's gonna happen to like I mean, we already know what's gonna happen to GameStop, unfortunately. You know, even though Third Key, representing, like we already know what's
yeah.
gonna happen. It's pretty much a wrap. But Best Buy, Best Buy's pretty much the last one, right? As far as non non Walmart style retail stores. Is there any more stores that sell electronics that's not like a Walmart or a Target besides Best Buy?
You know that FYE is still alive?
They still got FIEs?
I feel like they must have changed ownership or something, but they fully transitioned into a pop culture store and they're still around. I mean, all they do is sell like they got a whole Japanese section all the time and they just sell a bunch of merch for everything. They sell the merch for every popular culture thing in the world, which is a good call because no one's buying the pop culture media. They're streaming it. But if they want the merch, gotta get that from somewhere. But GameStop tried that. That did not work. GameStop is really heavy on their online store. GameStop got into figures and they have figure exclusives. So whenever like companies do big figure drops, they'll be like, because I do Power Rangers, right? So it'll be like Power Rangers got the new stuff, and they're like, all right, Hasbro Pulse has these two things, GameStop has these two things, Amazon has these two things, and GameStop's always a part of those equations, surprisingly. And it's I think it's mostly GameStop.com, but I don't know, like their brick and mortar definitely suffering like crazy, but there might be a path for them to survive in e-commerce, but I'm not. It's hard to say, man. I don't know what they're. It's gonna be rough because I mean, people aren't going outside again until next year, dude. Like, it's not gonna
Bro,
happen.
like and we keep trying to go outside like early and it's crazy because I'm like I went to B Dubs today right? Um, 'Cause I was like, man, I want B-Dubs and I want to see how this is about to go. So I go in and you wear your mask in, and then when you sit down, you take it off. So I was like, well, okay, all right, maybe, I was
Yeah.
see how it's going, okay. And everybody's kind of spaced out. I went and sat down at the bar, so everybody's kind of spaced out around the bar. You know what I mean? And they got people like
They had
sitting on
they had
hold,
bar seating?
bro. They had bar seating, bro. It was like one, two. It
Did
was
they
like four people. Like, four people can sit at the bar instead of like 20.
did they like block off seats?
Yeah, so it was like two seats here at the end, then two seats like 6 feet down, then two seats another 6 feet down, then then two seats at the other end. So you can sit like four groups at the bar. And then they had the outside bar open, and it was raining like crazy today. So it's raining, and there's people just outside, just bro. People want to be outside, like they want
Yeah.
to go out. And they will, by any means, it will be out, man. It was a storm outside, and people was eating outside at the bar at B-Dubs.
Oh my God. I did take out at B-Dubs. It was real easy. I like that. But I haven't been there. I haven't been anywhere since stuff opened up. It's just that's too early for me, man. I mean, maybe outside, but I probably have to do it outside. They're talking about this is going to be classified as a straight up airborne disease and not so much a droplets and coughing disease. It's just like if you're just indoors with somebody for a while. That's all it takes. But
So what we getting right now? 50,000 new cases a day or something?
we already hit, or no, we were moving towards 100,000. So,
New cases a day?
well, that's what we were on track for. Let's see.
Sheesh.
My buddy's my group of friends Discord. We have a bot, and he wrote a command for COVID, and we can check COVID numbers for the country or individual states or cities. um. Oh, I didn't put it in right. That's the wrong command. COVID US. Um, yeah, I don't know how it's been doing. We've been checking up on. We're at good 71,000 today,
So we had 71,000 new cases today.
and it has just been rising. It's still going up. We have charts too.
Okay, man. All right. Okay. Well,
So
you know,
yeah, it's like, man, I don't know what we're gonna do. I
to
mean,
move on to
the
things less morbid. Let's move on to something
yeah,
less morbid.
yeah, everybody's talked about that shit. Uh,
I didn't know we was getting 71,000, bro. That's 21,000 more than I expected. I was off a little bit.
It was
Okay,
50,000 a few
right.
days ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
um. Well, yeah, man. This is a little bit. I guess it's kind of old now. A couple weeks ago, Dr. Disrespect banned on Twitch. He is.
For what?
No one knows yet. 2 weeks radio silence from everybody. So he's. It's like a week prior, Mixer shuts down. So Ninja, uh, Shroud.
He went to YouTube, right?
He just went to YouTube. Yeah. Um. So all of them got released. Week later, Dr. Disrespect permabanned from Twitch. I mean, channel deleted, all of his subs refunded. The only refund subs is someone's gone forever. Usually they just say you can use your little emojis for the channel elsewhere on Twitch until the end of the month. They said, nope, here's your money back. All that shit's gone now. This is after I mean, it had to be a several $1 million deal. They produced this big old video with them. It was really nice. It was cool. He like flew in on this plane and had this bit with these pilots about being a gamer, and they were laughing at him. And then he like jumped out of the plane and like airdropped into this city and had a big Twitch sign in it and everything. Um, that was like of 2 months ago.
Come
And
on,
then
man.
he's just gone. And all he posted was, they haven't informed me what it was yet, and thank you for your support. And then that's the last thing he tweeted like 2 weeks ago, and he's just gone. So at this point, I'm at you got to be like, it's got to be some legit criminal activity
You
with
think it's
some
something like that,
with
or you
some.
think it? With some what?
with some
With
proof.
some.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking not even allegation. I'm talking proof. So it's like the papers are
Well, I mean,
coming
because
or something. But
we've been seeing a lot of stuff going on. Because you know the FGC's been dealing with a whole sexual misconduct scandal. So I just automatically assume right now that anything going on with cats getting banned has something to do with sexual misconduct.
but that stuff, like the allegations just get thrown out, which there could be allegations, like someone could have secretly came to Twitch and they could have done their own investigation, determined that we just got to drop them, um, and then drop him. For one, I feel like it would be hard to just drop him because he's in a contract for a bunch of money, and it's like, I mean, I guess if he did something in blatant violation of the contract, it had to be something in blatant violation to his contract, and even sexual misconduct, I feel like would be hard to prove, like in contractual terms or whatever, because it might be subjective to some people. But it's just crazy. And I guess, like people have brought up that in the past, there's been other people who were silently banned and they didn't give any statement, because they were just like, uh, they don't usually say why if they're going to permanently ban someone, and they haven't historically in the past. They haven't said why. They just banned them and that was it, and they didn't say anything. Um, but people kind of figured out why it was. But this one is crazy. I mean, he's one of the biggest gaming stars in the world, and he hasn't been making content for the last 2 weeks. So um, that's weird. You know, I don't. I have no idea what's going on with that. A lot of like conspiracy theories were like he was gonna start a new streaming service, and they found out about it, and then they banned him. But I don't know. I don't know.
That
But
don't sound right.
Ninja to YouTube is interesting. I think I felt like he wasn't gonna go back to Twitch just because Twitch is. I mean, we're on Twitch right now, but they are the people who run that.
Hey, what's up, Twitch?
the
Before the negative thing comes out, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
it seems like they don't have the most professional like leadership and stuff, and a lot of them higher up people always have like not great experiences. It seems like, um, and I feel like Ninja, you know, because after Ninja left Twitch and went to Mixer, and the next
right.
day they like
Show me the money. Yeah, show
they
me the money.
uh
Yeah, they got
they like deleted his channel. They like unlisted it, and if you went there, they were like, here are some other great streams for Fortnite, and they were like advertising other streams on his page. It's still his
which,
page. Like
yeah, which is
it's
crazy.
kind of weird because like, you know, he made an account on the site, even if he's not partnered or whatever. It is still his account on the site. He could still come back and stream on it.
I
But
remember him saying something about it too, like when he was like kind of, mad that
it
they
was
were
fucked up because
advertising other people,
they
yeah,
were
on
and
his
they were
page.
advertising other people live, and then people caught wind of that, and then people started streaming porn on their things, and then naming the stream such that it would get featured on that Ninja page. and then of course all hell broke loose. But uh, so it's like I was like, I don't see him going back to Twitch, and YouTube makes sense. He didn't go to Facebook, which is nice. I mean, if you're gonna choose between Facebook and YouTube, YouTube's got, I think, a better platform for it right now. Facebook's
Yes, and
trying though.
I've heard this conversation about this, right? And I'm like, I feel like Facebook still doesn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? The I guess trust, you could say trust. They don't have the trust of like the hardcore community, because I've listened to a lot of the hardcore community speak about their issues with the information sharing, and I'm like, look, man, Facebook ain't the only company that does that, but they definitely bite the bullet. They definitely take the shells for everybody on sharing your information. Like Facebook's like public enemy number one, and
Yeah,
apparently TikTok is coming in a close second.
yeah.
and it's, but I'm like, they're not the only company that takes your information. But people are saying that they specifically will not go to Facebook Gaming just because of that.
Guess what? Guess what? I
Yeah.
have not been doing.
What,
Um,
replying in the chat?
putting topics anywhere.
Hey man, I knew you wasn't gonna do that. It's the pilot. Don't worry about it, man. I already knew you were gonna get lost in the sauce
Let's
and
see.
not
Let's
do
see.
it.
There we go. But yeah, like so what's crazy to me is that Facebook is following the same dumb path that YouTube did, and YouTube is inherently ahead of them because of it. Where YouTube tried to split into another platform, they said we got YouTube and YouTube Gaming, and there are different websites. And if you go to YouTube Gaming, it has a gaming experience, and regular YouTube is regular YouTube, and that shit crashed and burned, and they got rid of it, and then
It's not a good idea.
they just made YouTube have live streaming. They focused on live streaming. They got that platform good for regular live streams, and then they built the stuff that gamers expect to have on top of that. What's Facebook doing? As soon as Mixer shut down, I'm getting ads on Facebook for Facebook Gaming, the app. Get the Facebook Gaming app to do. I'm like, the hell no. I'm not getting
Just put it
another
in
app.
Facebook.
No, just put it.
Put it
Yeah,
in Facebook.
one of them tabs right up top. You got
Yeah,
the
and let me select
video
it.
tab. You got the marketplace gaming
Just let me select it.
right in there, and then I'm in it. That's like I already have the app. Why wouldn't you just put it in there? And until they do that,
Especially,
I'm never gonna look at anything on it.
especially if you're gonna have a built-in, because you would assume this is gonna incorporate some type of software with the Xbox Series X, which I didn't plan on us touching on today, but whatever. I guess we're gonna touch on it. The Xbox Series X is gonna have some sort of streaming function directly to Facebook now, right?
Yes,
Because it used to. So
that's a weird partner for them to choose, man. Microsoft and Facebook.
I think they picked them just to be anti-Google. Like Amazon owns Twitch, Google owns, YouTube. Well, Alphabet. Alphabet company owns YouTube. I guess we would be specific, whatever.
Like, yeah, I'm
But
trying to think of who they rival. I mean, Google for sure. I'm like, why do you have beef with Amazon other than it was Twitch versus Mixer for a while? But
I mean,
I feel like
Phil
that's all
Spencer's
it is
openly
really.
spoken about that. He looks at them as his rivals.
Does he?
He literally said, and he caught a lot of flack for it. You know, he was like, "Look, man, like Nintendo or Sony, like we respect what they do, but we look at Google and Amazon as like our main competition. And if you look at what they're doing in the cloud spaces, you'll see why they look at them as their main competition. They're the three biggest cloud companies in the United States. Like, so it's like that's who they worried about. And they probably did not want to sign a deal with
That's
Twitch
true.
because
Yeah. It's that
that's
cloud. I
anti
forgot. I
them.
forgot. It's the cloud service. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just
That's
it's
all
cloud
their.
services.
That's all their biggest money makers.
I mean, even now, like
It's Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud.
yeah,
I'm trying to
and
remember what
I
it's all.
forgot what Amazon's is called. Is it just called the Amazon Cloud? What the hell is it called?
AWS, Amazon Web Services.
Yeah. So, it's
That's true.
that's
I didn't
gonna
think
be
about
a
that.
thing.
That's definitely yes. Okay, that makes total sense then. Facebook does not have that whatsoever. So it's
Yeah,
like
they don't have that.
the less the least of many evils for them. But
And then on Facebook's end,
so
no.
Ninja went
So
right on over to
free agent.
YouTube. So
Yep, free agent. And I think Shroud was a free agent too. I know they're allowing. Man, why are we about to talk about Mixer, bro? Like, God. Um, they're allowing people on Mixer to become partners over at Facebook, like sliding their
so
content
you can
over to
get
like your
that
higher
is
level people.
that is the only way to make money on Facebook,
Yeah.
which is stupid. But
So, so that's what they're allowing, and then obviously there's going to be some type of a corporation into the system, like I said. So Facebook, they got something to gain from that because a lot of your people that are outside your 5% of the hardcore, because for some reason people in the hardcore think like they're the biggest, you know, factor in council success, and I'm like, bro, we're like 5%. It's like, but the other 95%, they're just gonna stream to whatever's on the box.
mhm,
So they're probably not gonna download whatever. They're just gonna be like, I want to stream, and Facebook says, hey, we'll take those people. So it makes sense.
that's what's gonna be crazy, man.
Makes sense.
I feel like the biggest example of it, the most obvious example, is Mortal Kombat sales versus competitive players. which is
Correct.
like
Correct.
10-1 at least.
Yes. Not even close. I think now obviously Street Fighter Five was exclusive on the PlayStation 4. But I looked at the numbers for that the other day. You might want to look these up because you Google master. I want to say that Street Fighter 4, I mean 5, sold 4 million copies, which is, you would strive to be a name like Street Fighter to at least impact 10% of the install base of the PlayStation 5. I mean 4. So you would think with a name like Street Fighter, we selling at least 10 million. And then I'm pretty sure they sold 4. So, when you're looking from that perspective, your Mortal Kombat analogy is, I mean, it's dead on. Like I think what is it? It's now the highest selling fighting game all time. Is like one single fighting game.
um,
I have to look it
that
up, but I'm like,
might be
I think
true,
they got
and
the record.
the only contender would be Smash. Or, well, yeah, no, I think Smash also has Tekken too. Um, Smash Ultimate lifetime sales. I guess I can do this too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I
man. Yeah, let's
changed it.
go. Let's go. But and I was looking, man, and I was like, man, like you would
Damn,
think Street Fighter
Smash reaches 13 and
would
a
have killed the
half
game
million in April 25th. What is
off
it at
one count,
now?
off one count, bro. That's crazy.
Is the best selling fighting game in US history. Okay,
Oh, there
Smash
you go.
Ultimate
Let's go
probably
Smash.
has it if you count Smash. After that, I'm sure it's got to be Mortal Kombat 11 specifically even. Um,
Now, actually, now why do people not count Smash as a fighting game?
it's not traditional. It's not that's a whole deal. Um, it was the best-selling PS4 game of 2019.
That's a slap in the face from Street Fighter.
um,
That's a big smack in the face.
Man, I hate video game sales numbers. It's the worst.
Because they never actually give you like the real numbers, and you got to deep dive to go find them.
Yeah, they don't. They hide their own numbers, which is annoying,
Well,
but
well, for the sake of things, we're gonna say Smash is number one because they clearly are boasting. Smash, and I know Mortal Kombat was up there. I know they was. I know Mr. Boom was up there talking this ish, getting it off his chest. You know, pounding the pavement, talking about how Mortal Kombat getting these numbers off.
and all they had to do was make like an okay story mode, so that all the casual people could play something other than go online and get their ass kicked. Like
Which is all that's gonna happen.
casual players are over going online and getting their ass kicked. Like, they're not about it anymore.
I feel like those Dragon Ball numbers came down because of that too. Like I don't see the online presence because I think people tired of getting smacked up with the same combos.
I mean, they still need to that game they should have made it, given it at most 2 years support, and they're moving on like 3-4 years now, I think. Uh, was that not a pilot for a jump Shonen Jump 2D fighter crossover fighter?
If they smart, they make it. I guess my thing is with its popularity, it's probably still gonna be number one at Evo. What's gonna be number one at Evo?
No, well, for one, Evo is canceled.
I mean, yes. But
But
you know what I'm asking.
it,
Like, what's gonna be number one at Evo? Like, but it's not gonna be Street Fighter.
I mean, in
It's
recent
gonna be, it's
years,
gonna be Tekken.
and that's again, competitive people versus casuals, but it's always been, for one, Smash Ultimate since it came out, and
There you
then,
go.
well,
Okay.
no, that's not true. That's not true.
Cause I remember Dragon Ball Finals was like a big deal, man. That was like the biggest when
they gave it a good spot, and Namco sponsored it, and they did like an announcement for upcoming content and stuff. So it
so
got that spot.
if you saying they
But
hit the
the real numbers have always been, honestly, Street Fighter on top, usually by 1,000 or so entrants, except for a couple years. I think when Smash Ultimate came out, it topped it. But Don't quote me on that, but it's usually Smash rolled in and like fucked up all the numbers, and then you had the other games. But Street Fighter still does usually pull the most people at Evo, because it gets the biggest international audience as well. It gets tons of people from around the world. The other games don't get that as much. It's usually more local to US. But Dragon Ball did really well first, maybe second year, and then it just started falling off. People didn't commit
Then
to
it
it too
dipped
much.
off.
Yeah.
I
Um,
figured as much. I'm just like, man, I don't know what game's gonna get the hype. Cause like when I was watching like the feeds, now obviously the Namco plug that makes sense. When I'm watching the feeds, I'm like, bro, it's like everybody's hype about this Dragon Ball final. Like it's all about this Dragon Ball final, and that's when you had Sonic versus what's the kid's
well, and
name?
they were hyped too because Sonic Fox was it was maybe Goichi or it was
Goichi.
some a
Yeah,
Japanese
yeah,
player, yeah.
It was Sonic and Goichi.
Yeah.
Sonic and Goichi.
Um, which is like that's actually why it was super hype. Sonic Fox is why many games are super hype, like Mortal Kombat and Dragon Ball. And even when he played, I think he dipped into Marvel for a minute when he first came on the scene, but because he was showing up and just he's like the biggest prodigy of the last 10 years in the fighting game community, easy. Uh,
Yeah, we just gifted.
and he would show
He's
up.
gifted.
He's gifted in just games in general, and he's like, "Hey, I showed up playing. I don't know if it was Mortal Kombat or Injustice," and then he was just like, "I'm gonna play these other games, and then I'm gonna place top 10 in the world in a year. Give me a year," and he would just do it. So like he was like, "I'm gonna play Dragon Ball. I've never played these games these type of games, anime games. It's an anime game at top level. It's fucking top level in like a year. I mean, that kid's insane, but that's why it was super hype though,
I
because
feel like
every
he's
time we can get
sharing
US
the
versus
biggest star in
Japan,
sport.
it's like huge. Like Street Fighter finals suck at Evo because it's always either literally all top 8 is foreigners or there's one person from America, and he's
You
probably
right, actually. You right about that, actually. No, now who's the cat? Man, I gotta get up on my new Street Fighter guys, cause gone are the days of you just being able to say, hey, it's gonna be Justin Wong there, right?
right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Those days are gone. Like so, um, it was a cat I saw that was playing at the Capcom finals. He ended up losing to a no name. But apparently he was the best US player in the world.
Uh, this kid won the Capcom Cup like and I think it was last year, I guess, and it was this young black kid from America. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, but
and those were super hype.
he beat a pro. He was a no name player and he beat a pro player.
Oh yeah,
I think we're talking about the
Idom.
same thing.
His name was Idom.
Yeah, who'd he
Um,
beat
bro, he beat everybody. Let me see if I can find the break.
in the finals, man?
Oh,
The
was it
finals.
him in the U.S. Grand Finals? Was him in Punk? Who Punk is?
It was Punk.
Was that
I
for the
think Punk. That was for the
championship?
final. That was for the championship.
Oh yeah, Punk was second. Wow, we were top 2. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Punk. I think Punk's considered the best US player in the world currently. And
Phenom was number 3. He's from Norway, so he was representing Europe. And then Mago, and then Tokido, and then Fudo, and then Nemo, and it's
yeah, of course,
a bunch of
right?
Japanese players.
Of
But
course.
um, that is crazy. I do think it's a little bit of Street Fighter 5 fatigue. Although I do think that Item is another like young prodigy coming up. That I mean, those games are such like mind games, and at any time someone can come in totally new, have a fresh perspective, look at what everyone is doing, and be like, well, why don't I do this and counter it this
Not
way?
that. I'm gonna do not that.
And then no one else has ever thought about that ever because they don't have, they got the same perspective that they've been looking at it with for the last 10, 20 years. And that's what happens. But I don't know. It's weird, fighting game community. I guess I haven't thought about it, man. But I mean, I would jump in and watch fighting game major streams and stuff.
Now, hold on, Aaron.
Haven't done that in many
Hold on,
months.
Aaron. Since we on the subject, just so anybody who is watching, Aaron is the base of the Michigan fighting game community. For guys who don't know what he looked like, the reason you have FGC in Michigan right now, it's your man's. You're looking at him right there. Like it would not exist. It would not exist. I don't care what nobody tell you. It would not exist. I watched your boy grind and put that thing together. I think he had one other brother with him. Um, but it's you had two people that was responsible for the FGC in Michigan. So hey Aaron, I know you ain't never gonna talk your ish. You never gonna pat yourself on the back. But I'm sure you're happy with where FGC is right now, at least nationally, and how American players are actually starting to become more prominent in
Yeah,
in games where we normally was getting washed.
yeah. I mean, and we haven't produced too many top players. It's tough though. I mean, it's good that we have and still have a community, and we have a player base of people who are actually interested in it. Whereas you could be in a city somewhere that just doesn't even have the audience, but Metro Detroit actually does have a pretty large audience for that. Metro Detroit did also kind of burn to the ground recently with various allegations and weird things. There's always been a lot of different controversies because it's like uh, our scene is always like, especially the traditional fighting games, has always survived on um, preserving the past, and this is how these people have always been, and this is how they act, and this is how they behave, and they don't actually mean any harm, and you should just toughen up and whatever. Which is explaining away a lot of not PC behavior, and uh, and it's starting to finally not fly as much. So it's changing, probably for the better. Probably will help get a more welcoming community in the future. Um, for me, it's always been having games that can really help it though. Like I was lucky to be involved, at the peak of Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and those games were like dope.
Yeah,
Loved
it
those
was killing.
games.
It was killing it. They
Um,
were.
it was great. It was a great time, and it brought in a lot of people. When Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out, we had all these new people coming in just out of nowhere.
It's funny when Street Fighter 4 came out. Isn't that when they did the launch tournament on the boardwalk? Isn't that when were we both still at GameStop then?
It
Like
was
when they
the
did
launch tournament
when
was a
they did
GameStop
like
tournament in like Vegas or
yeah
some shit.
yeah,
And
and
our
they did it
one of
like
our guys
outside.
one of our guys Alucard from Detroit was actually invited to that, and we went to that.
I remember that, man. Like they had it like on the big screen. Um, I remember that, man. Those were the days. Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You were right.
I mean, they started that Street Fighter 4 really kind of brought back fighting games, and even if people
It did.
had all these qualms with it and everything, but
It did.
it ended up, I feel like people got over it about a year or two later. Super Street Fighter 4 came out. People were liking it more. They were supporting it well. They were balancing it well, and people really came to just like it to the point that it happens with every Street Fighter game, but it's like, a year after Street Fighter 5 came out, people were like, man, I miss Street Fighter 4. Which is what everyone was saying with Street Fighter 4 at first. They were like, ooh, can we go back to Third Strike? But
Now, do you feel like Street Fighter V's best version being the PC one hurt it?
no, because that's always just like a nice fancy thing dangling in the distance that's like it's there, but everybody plays on console. I couldn't believe though that they had crossplay, and that the PC players learned how to patch their game to have better netcode. If they played with a console player who didn't have the patch, the console player might uh, might have really bad kind of like rollback netcode, while the PC player thinks it looks like it's fine. But they've legit had like because Japan, I don't know if you ever heard of GGPO, but like these these dudes, I think it was the Cannon brothers who started the not canceled Evo brothers. who they started this net code. It's called rollback. I don't know all the specifics, but it's like um, your game is constantly trying to kind of predict what the other person's going to do next, and if it fucks up, then it rolls back and it makes sure that the accurate event happened, and it doesn't happen very often, or at least if it's doing a rollback, you don't usually notice it, um, and it just results in online play that feels faster than it should even physically be possible, between you and the other person's connection. And it's been around forever, and these AAA companies just would not implement it because it takes more processing power. So you have to sacrifice some of your graphics to dedicate it to the netcode to be better. And no one wants to do that ever. Gotta have the graphics. Um,
Gotta have them graphics, bro.
yeah. So
Them graphics.
uh, I think Street Fighter V has, Capcom's implementation of it, and it's not great. And somebody just discovered in the last year, they were like, oh, they screwed up right here, and if we just change this bit to like this instead of this, it works how it was designed to work, and it's much better. And then they figured out how to patch it on PC without it like triggering some kind of anti-cheat or whatever. And then PC players were playing with each other, and they were like, "Wow, this is great! I don't get those random bad connections that are like unbearable and unplayable." Um, and then it started a huge campaign to yell at Capcom about it, and they did patch it. They made it a little better. They did not do what the fan patch was though for everyone, and people are like, all right, well, baby steps, I guess. But it's like, man, with competitive games, 2020 moving forward, and people are starting to try to do this, but it's like you just need to concentrate on getting the online to be as fast and as lagless as possible, because then people are going to love to play it and they're going to play it all the time. But if they can't play online without getting pissed off, they're not going to play your game for that long.
Okay. So question then. Do you feel in this next, because you're right, most fighting game players, fighting game community players are gonna play on console, right? Even though it has been certified the PC version is the best version of Street Fighter, right? So going into these next consoles, where we have, man, I didn't think we were gonna do any console talk, but I feel like this is valid, so whatever. Um, do you feel there will be a focus on these newer consoles to address any online concerns? You know, because that's not something you normally hear talked about with new console launches.
Right.
But do you feel like there will be any effort put in those places, on the software side and the networking side to fix any of those issues? Because we can talk about all this other stuff, which people ask me about, and variable refresh rate, and which I'll talk to y'all about, and processor, who got the best processor, and boom, boom, boom. Like I can talk about that all day, but the information I have not received is what we're talking about right now. I haven't seen anything.
It's they're getting better, but they're still refusing to do the best. You know who's gonna fucking kill it? And I'm gonna transition into this because this is one of the things I wrote down. But you know what? I think that we can do. Let me see this. But it's like how's that?
It's cool. It's cool. I see what you're doing. Okay, I feel you. I was like, let me see where your boy going with this, but okay, I feel you. Go ahead.
All right, so I'll change it right here too. And I'm gonna say Riot Games Takeover, dude. That Riot Games fighting game is going to be the most buttery smooth fighting game that you can play on a controller, on a fighting stick, on keyboard, on whatever you want. It's going to be free to play. It's going to have the best online of any fighting game that looks nice ever.
You talking about the Project L thing that they doing?
So you see the little And maybe I can pull it up too. Um,
You talking about the League of Legends game, right? That they're doing
yes,
the Project L.
League of Legends fighting game. So,
Look, man, off the top, just having that name alone, bro, they gonna do 100 million.
dude, but also free to play. There
They
hasn't
gonna
been
do 100
there's never been a AAA free to play fighter. I think
That's true.
Was Killer Instinct free to play?
Killer Instinct was free.
I think it was.
Play.
I think it was.
You had to
cheap
buy
to start.
Yeah, I think it was free, but you got like 2 characters.
Yeah, and then if you wanted
and
more,
I
you had to
think-
buy everything.
Yes, that was the closest thing we had ever seen. Killer Instinct's really good, by the way. It doesn't get the credit it deserves.
That's true.
It's really good. It's really good.
If anyone's watching, I'm sure nobody's watching, but watch. They just put out a documentary. No Clip did on Killer Instinct, and it was very good. Actually, I was like, that was a great subject. But man, can I just get this one? Looks like it's just the actual short clip they showed. So like,
Hey man, I'm looking at it now. It look good.
for one,
That look good, man. That looks good.
oh, apparently don't
Oh,
resize
wow.
the window. So for
Oh, they gonna change the game with this.
damn, come on. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this damn thing straightened. So for one, I like this art style.
It's a great art style.
It looks like kind of like painting, but those are 3D models, and
Yeah.
I think that's dope. They like blend in with the backgrounds and everything, kind of. It's got dynamic camera angles in it, and they only showed this really quick clip of all this stuff. I want to see that training. So they got this like training mode stage in the back, and this guy's playing it on a keyboard. So and they were talking about how like their whole focus is making sure that the netcode is buttery smooth. That's one of the Cannon brothers. I think it's Tom Cannon. He was one of the founders of Evo. They hired the Cannon brothers to be like, make sure we get this shit right. We want every fighting game player to be about this shit and like it. Oh, it's VS Code. That's what I use. And they've been working on it. They've been working on it for years now, and because they got endless amounts of money. When this thing is ready, dude, like, I mean, they just
That
put out
art's not
Valorant,
crazy.
right? Like, so Valorant's already out. That's already doing pretty good. Like, this looks great, dude. I'm very about it. I'm just about, I like, and even just in the spirit of fighting game competition, I like when a game comes out that everybody likes and they enjoy it a whole lot and they're very competitive and it draws an enormous crowd and everyone loves it. Like, that's good for everybody. And that's what these people should be striving for, but it's like, it's so hard to get these Japanese companies out of their own asses to be like, listen to fans, listen to when they tell you these things, like, take their feedback and just try to make a game that they want. But so that's coming out, and that's gonna change the game. I don't know. That's gonna be ridiculous. They're the only people who are actually trying to make a good performant fighting game. Everyone else is slowly creeping towards, oh, we're gonna do better with the next one. Guilty Gear and Arxis games have been notorious for having just shit netcode, and they're like, we're trying to do better with the new game coming out, but also the new game coming out looks incredible. So it's probably not really that much performance left to do some good netcode on.
I mean, look, man. I always take it with a grain of salt because I do agree with you. Like if that's where most of your hardcore base is gonna be for training purposes, when you're not working on the netcode, you're diluting it. Especially here in America, we don't have arcades.
Mhm.
So I could imagine that in Japan, Capcom's not as focused on that because they're like, look, man, here at the crib, they still going to the arcade. So F what you talking about. And when we go do these finals and these grand finals and these huge tournaments, y'all gonna be in person. Right? So
Right.
it's a thing. Maybe they just don't care.
I mean
And
that.
it's gonna take a Western developer to be like, look, man, we don't have arcades, so this is the most important thing.
I mean, and that is legit, like what their attitude kind of has been. They just didn't really get it because they're like, even when they play online with each other, it's like at max distance between two players in Japan. It's not even halfway across the United States. Like, whereas you could be if you get matched with somebody on the other side of the country. Even like if I played somebody in Florida in those games, it's trash compared to playing somebody really close to you. So like, they also weren't seeing it in that aspect. So it's dumb. I mean, I hope all the rumors right now say Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is in the works. Well, 5, I guess, if you just
that contract got done.
Infinite.
Nah, man, it's gonna be 4. It's gonna be 4. They're not gonna Infinite don't count. So okay, so that's coming. All right, so let's look down the road to other things. It's coming, okay? Because something I've been passionate about. All right, and I want to touch base since we're talking about games. All right, look, man, I want to be done with the 30 frames per second era. Like, I'm adamant about this. I've been talking about this shit. Like, we got to be done. Like, what has to be done for 30 frames per second to go away? And in fighting games, since we're talking about fighting games, do we have any 60 FPS fighting games?
All of them. They're
All of them
they're
are-
the
all-
the
all of
only
them- all of
genre
them are
that
plastic.
prioritizes Call of Duty multiplayer and fighting games are the only things that run at 60 FPS at all times.
Hey, man. I should, cause I'm like, wait a minute, Smash run 60? I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Smash run 60, Smash run 60 on the
yeah.
Switch.
Always. Since N64.
Goodness gracious, I didn't know Smash ran 60 on the Switch. Look at that education from your boy over there. I did not know though. I did not know that, bro.
They prioritize 60 in a lot of their games unless it becomes a big burden on performance, and then they don't. But like the latest Zelda game was 30. But Mario games, 3D Mario games, they usually strive for 60. They just do in a lot of their games in general because they value aesthetic more than graphics quality. They'll make something
the
look
graphical powerhouse stuff.
yeah, they'll make something look really nice. 60 and the 60 FPS will be a part of why like a 3D Mario game feels like it does. And that's
So your boy
important to
getting
them.
educated right now. Your boy getting educated. Aaron
Look,
is hitting me with
Nintendo's
these
got-
educational moves.
Yeah.
Because that stresses what I am saying even more. Okay? Like I said, I always been on the mature side of the, things, right? The last Nintendo game I played was Zelda, the last Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, which was Game of the Year. That was Game of the Year for that year. End of the conversation. I played it. I was like, yo, this is arguably the best launch game I ever played in my life. Like, it was right there.
Well, that's because it was a
With-
last end of generation Wii U game, but
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works, right? Like, because I'm a Halo fanboy. Technically, I think Halo Infinite really is the Xbox One end of cycle game, but they've been working on it for 5 years, and they was like, hey, let's go ahead and put this out on the next one.
Right.
Let's go ahead and wrap this cycle up because we only did 40 million consoles, and that's embarrassing. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up.
Did they
Go
start
ahead
it
and put up.
on? They had to have, right? Like,
Yeah,
when did they
started.
announce that?
They've been working on it for 5 years. They announced it last year. It was the official announcement was last year, but they've been working on it for 5 years. And, I'm like super into the lore and all that, so it's it's just a thing. But 30 FPS has to go, bro. Your boy's not buying. And I'm putting this on record, bro. So this counts for Ghost of Tsushima and everything, because I want to play it. I want to play Ghost of Tsushima so bad. Okay, if it's 30 frames a second, I'm not playing it.
Bro, that
I'm
game's
not
30
doing
frames per second. We'll see about PS5.
It's on the PS4, so I know it's 30 frames a second. I don't even have to look.
It couldn't look that good if it wasn't 30 FPS.
I don't care, bro. Remember when we got into it and I was like, look, bro, Halo 5 is 4K 60. You didn't believe me. And I'm like, bro, it's
I
4K
did.
60.
I
I'm
Googled
trying to
it,
tell you.
and I was like, that's crazy. It actually is.
And once I played Halo 5 on the One X, and I was like, man, I played the multiplayer. And I'm like, this just feel different. Like the speed. And this is, because I told you, I've been playing shit my whole life. So I've been playing 30 FPS my whole life. I had never even thought about moving up in the frame rate until I played Halo 5 on the One X. So then I called friends of mine who are PC guys who've been trying to get me to play 120 frames per second, 144 frames per second games forever. And I'm like, man, I ain't worried about it. Now I'm worried about it. I'm never doing it again.
Man, weren't the old Halo games 60 FPS?
No,
I feel like
they were not.
like Halo 3
Halo-
or something had to have been.
Hell no, Halo 3 wasn't 60 FPS. Actually, funny enough, Halo 3, they did an update on PC to have it at wide field of view, 120, it was 120 frames, 120 frames a second, wide field of view. It's like a completely different game. It's completely. I was like, bro, I can play this. I
now
can't
that,
believe how different this is.
now that I think about it, I watched a few. I don't know if they're videos or documentaries or what, but I do remember. It was probably Digital Foundry analyses on the remasters where they identified a few things where they had a lot of hard-coded animations for 30 FPS, and then they had to like make them support 60 FPS, and that's like a thing, right? Like sometimes developers would hard code stuff they were expecting a 30 frames per second frame rate, such that if you ran it at 60 FPS, the animation would run at double the speed. Like it would just look like it was super fast. If you slowed it down, it would look choppy and it would look like 30 FPS even though you were outputting 60 FPS. So it's like they found like a couple little tiny animations or some shit that they did not clean up right, but yeah, so yeah, I do think it was 30 FPS in them older games. They had a hard time upgrading some of those games, but that's because they were good looking games for back then, and they did a lot of smoke and mirrors to get them to look as nice as they did.
Like for like the lighting, man. We're not about to talk about old Halo games. I'm not about to do that. But like the lighting system in Halo,
They were
3
nice
was
though.
actually,
They did a lot of really cool things.
Crazy.
They did a lot of cool things to achieve all of that too. It was like, it wasn't just straight up good lighting or good effects. It was like they made it look like it was good lighting and good effects, and they did some clever stuff to do that. But
Look, man.
That's what you had to do back then. But
This whole next generation for me, Aaron, will be completely based on performance. Period. Like I told you, Halo Infinite better launch 4K 120. And the reason I'm saying that is because they're bringing back co-op. So that would mean that I'm running two images at 60 frames a second on both sides of the screen.
yeah, that's why.
So if it's only 4K 60, huh?
So that's why they don't do that anymore. I think
Exactly.
This is why I thought that.
Exactly.
I thought that Halo 3 was 60 FPS, but when you played 4-player
Halo
co-op,
4
it
was,
went
Halo
to
4 was
30
60.
FPS.
We got to look that up. Halo 4 was 60 frames a second.
All I know is that one of them had 60 FPS single player, but when you played co-op, they dropped the frame rate.
Yeah, because you have to. Because you got to run two images at the same time. And Halo 4, I want to say, was 60 frames a second, but it had no co-op at all. And it was like a big deal.
That was the first.
No co-op
Yeah, I
on
mean,
Halo
that was the
then.
first changeover.
And
Did
that's why
Halo 5 have co-op?
it had online co-op. I do not think it had on console co-op.
That's the other way that you get around that is you don't do split screen, which we got online co-op so that your console doesn't have to render 2 images.
Because and that's why I'm putting my foot in the ground and I'm saying it can't be 60 because if it's 60 when you run co-op, it's gonna be 30. It would have to be 30 by design. So for this to work and y'all bring a co-op back, that means it's got to be 4K 120. And if you want to tell me you drop the resolution on the split screen, that's fine. Give me 1440, 120, so each image is running at 60 frames per second.
Which you should
That's
be doing
it.
anyways because it's taking up less screen space. But yeah,
Look, that's it. That's where we're at with this.
I wonder,
After-
dude.
look,
what's
I'm done.
I don't think Halo Infinite's gonna have split screen.
I think they said they're bringing co-op back, bro. That was like one of the big announcements that co-op is coming back. I think it's gonna have split screen.
They said it's coming out next year though.
I
I think that's what I think that you were saying the last time we talked was that you were like it better not come out until 2022, and I'm pretty sure I just saw that they were like it's coming out
this year. It's coming out. In what month is it? It's July.
You think they're gonna?
So-
You think they're gonna show that end of this month? They got something
They're
coming out.
showing it on the 23rd, bro.
You think it's gonna come out this year?
I'm telling you, it's coming out this year. It's launching with the console, bro. This is not. This. I'm serious. This is like it's launching with the Xbox.
Damn. Well, then that's also just like. If
And they've been working on it for 5 years.
If it can hit those performance numbers, it's only going to be because they started making this game 5 years ago, and it looks like a game from 3 years ago at least. And they just got to take that game and beef up the specs so that they could put out the performance numbers. But I don't know. I just see them being like, it's gotta be the graphical showcase powerhouse.
Doesn't, because no Halo game's ever really been that except for Halo 2.
That's true.
Halo 2.
Yeah, like
Halo 1 looked old a year after it launched.
Well, and Halo 2 was like them kind of using the original Xbox hardware pretty well, and the original Xbox hardware was like way better than
Halo 3 was nowhere near the best looking game on the console. That was Gears of War by a mile. Like, it wasn't even close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and no one would even say that.
And Forza looked better than Halo 3 too. So realistically, they could put out something that looks like Halo 5, which looked really good. Halo 5 looked really good. They could put out something that looks like Halo 5, running at 4K 120 with ray tracing. But now with ray tracing, you have to drop it. Probably 1440p 120 with ray tracing. But they could put out something 4K 120.
Are they
and say,
Are they making
purely
that?
for performance.
Are they making that in their own engine? That's all proprietary,
New engine.
right?
Yeah, it's a new engine, which looks better than Halo 5 already. It does. The new engine looks way better than Halo 5.
Well, you wanna shift gears to. This isn't even in my list, but you know this is what we do. This is what we start talking about stuff. Unreal. You were talking about ray tracing before.
Yes.
I think that the biggest advancement in the next generation of graphics is going to be not actual ray tracing. And that is what Unreal Engine 5 has already showed off. They said,
you talking about showing off like they substitute type of ray tracing thing that they're doing?
Yep. And Digital Foundry did a thing on it, and they were like, what this scene is doing for it to not be real ray tracing is insane. Like, especially if it's as performant as they say, this is crazy. Like that, and it's a no-brainer for anyone to be like, well, we want the game to look real nice, but we don't have, we don't have the performance to do real ray tracing on top of that. It's too much. You would just implement this, and it's just gonna look way better than like typical lighting from normal games, which is crazy. I think the other most crazy thing that they introduced was that whole like, hey, you can just load in a model, a 3D model that's like 2 million pixels or polygons, and the camera, when it's looking at it, is only gonna render the polygons that it can see. It's not going to render 2 million of them. It's just going to render 30,000 of them. And
So right now, you're talking about that demo that they showed on PlayStation 5, correct?
mhm.
And great, the demo was beautiful. It ran at 30 frames per second, so you know how I feel about that. I'm mad, but it was beautiful.
It was, I mean, it was out of control. And
Yeah, it was beautiful.
a lot of the good things that I, was reading was like, hey, think back to every Unreal Engine tech demo before a generation launched, and think about how trash they look compared to games that came out like 4 or 5 years after it on the
You are
same engine.
100%. You are
That
100%
shit's gonna
correct.
be
Like,
insane.
no, you are 100% correct. No doubt in my mind. And this is where I see Sony could be making the play because there was a report that came out that they invested $250 million in Epic.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is,
I heard that. Yeah, I
nah,
was like,
Epic's worth like $17 billion.
yeah. They were
So
like,
I'm like,
well, they
I'm
put in
like,
250
alright,
million. It was like that's a 1.8% stake in them or something.
but but this is where I'm gonna give Sony some credit. Because obviously I'm gonna buy a PlayStation 5. I have to play God of War. I'm also a God of War fanboy. You know that about me. So unfortunately, those are my two franchises, Halo and God of War. So I gotta have both.
Yep.
It don't matter, right? If they figure out a way to create lighting without ray tracing, right, and say whatever money they gave to Epic gives them some type of inside track on that lighting technology, they can boost their performance significantly, right?
Dude,
Graphically, by keeping the graphical settings that they want to go for, but increase performance.
mm-hmm.
But performance has to increase, bro. It just has to increase. People can't go out, and this will go to our TV's conversation. So this all goes together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you about LG putting fucking FreeSync Premium in their OLEDs, which officially makes these OLEDs gaming TVs. Like they're official now. This is it.
Finally.
For anybody,
Yes.
because the tearing issues are fixed. You're getting low frame rate compensation, and anything that you're playing on in HD is going to require at least a 120 hertz refresh rate. These are gaming TVs now.
They're
Okay?
big ass monitors.
Yes. and for people to want to go get FreeSync Premium Pro, that's how you get your HDR with the same hubbub I just talked about. Anybody want to talk about it, hit me up. I got time. But look, it's no way people are going to go pay, because LG's probably going to charge, let's say, $2,000 for these fucking things. They're about to go pay $2,000 for these things. HDMI 2.1. Your PlayStation 5 is outputting 2.1, so you should be able to get the whole 48 gigabytes a second streamlines of information, that good old 120 hertz goodness, and y'all putting out fucking 30 FPS games, bro. That's highway robbery. That is insane. Somebody's about to go pay $2,000 because they're gonna get told this got HDMI 2.1
Right.
on the PlayStation 5. This got HDMI 2.1 on the Xbox Series X. All right, and if they're not getting the fidelity of the performance, what did they just go pay $2,000 for?
Right.
Because that's literally what you're paying $2,000 for.
They're like, finally, we can do all these things that PC can do, and then the game's gonna be like, oh yeah, but we only run at 30 FPS.
That's
like,
garbage.
Yeah, it sucks. At least you know what, Rocket League's gonna come out on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and that shit's gonna be 120,
It's gonna be
144,
it's
4K.
1 million. It's gonna be 1 million.
They're gonna be like, "Yep, you got the PC experience finally," because I can't even play that game on console.
Bro,
Any console.
you can't play it. Like, it's unplayable. It is literally unplayable.
If you're used to playing it on PC, I'm at the point where I started off playing it on my TV through my computer, and then I started playing it on this 144 hertz gaming monitor. I can't play it any other way anymore. I'll just miss stuff. I'll be like, the game is so split second and your reactions that you have to do sometimes, and I just like, I would have hit that normally, but something about this screen right now, I just feel like I'm sluggish, even though it's not even that much slower. But those games are going to benefit for sure. I mean, the uglier games are going to perform great, but yeah, it's like again, it's always so disheartening to see. It's like a new console generation comes out, and they're just like, we're gonna yank the graphics engine as hard as we can to do all this cool looking stuff, and performance is gonna take a backseat. But
Look, I ain't having it, bro.
I think
I'm just telling you what it is.
I think we got like
I'm
one more
not buying it.
generation of fighting for it, especially since the next generation is gonna have high frame rate, variable refresh rate. Those are the biggest advancements in gaming
But that exists right now, bro.
the last 10 years.
I'm telling you, these new OLEDs.
And SSD.
Okay,
So they're going to have SSD, variable refresh rate, and high frame rates. I think those are the biggest gaming graphic upgrades of the last 10 years. They're such game changers.
Yes, that's what we need to be focusing on, because these new OLEDs. Look, man, these new LGs are ridiculous. Now that they've announced that they have AMD FreeSync chips in them, okay, that they have AMD FreeSync technology, okay, because Samsung had it last year, LG didn't put it in on OLEDs, okay. This is a thing. People are about to go pay $2,000.
Yeah,
it's over. It's over, man. Like, and the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they actually they support variable refresh rate. Both of them do. So funny enough, something people didn't know. Last year, when Samsung had the variable refresh rate televisions, the PlayStation 4 didn't work with it, because the PlayStation 4 didn't support variable refresh rate. The Xbox Series X, not Series X, the Xbox One X did. Microsoft got to fix their console names. And the Xbox One S did.
they updated
Okay.
it, I think, right?
Yeah, so both of them
they support
supported
it now.
variable refresh rate.
Even though I don't think that their output was not actually variable refresh rate. You got to program that into the game, but they made sure that the the actual signal going through the HDMI was not gonna crap out when you plugged it into a variable refresh rate TV, whereas Sony is
Right.
late to the game on stuff like
Sony
that.
didn't support that, right? Now, PlayStation 5 does. And I'll make this about them because this is important. When I buy God of War, I better not buy God of War 30 frames. It's God of War cannot be 30 frames.
Was the last one 30?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Let's look it up. I believe so, because it was very pretty. It was one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. I think God of War was the best game of the last console generation. I don't even think it's close.
I want to play it.
But I'm a fanboy. I'm a fanboy though, so might not be able to count it.
Look at what Google knows how to look for now. 30 frames per second.
Yeah, bro, that's trash, bro. That's garbage, man.
They got it in the pre-canned response for Google. Like, I could ask my speaker what was the frame rate of God of War PS4, and it would say 30 frames per second.
So my best guess is God of War is gonna be 60.
I would hope so,
that's
man.
That's my best guess.
But
I'll take 60. I'll take it.
If they push the slower paced combat, will they try to excuse away frame rate again?
Fuck that. Look, I'm gonna tell you what I need. I need a Ninja Gaiden reboot running at 120 frames a second. Imagine Ninja Gaiden at 120 frames a second.
I mean,
that's what I need.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to bring that back yet. But I mean, it was made by Itagaki, and that whole
and they hate him. But and they made Ninja Gaiden 3, and it was terrible.
But I mean, if Capcom can right their wrongs, Tecmo can figure it out. Capcom was like, oh man, I still haven't played it. I want to play Devil May Cry 4 so bad though. I need to get around to it. Cause guess what that game runs at? 60 frames per second. That's a late release PS4 game, and they said they gave it back to the original Japanese developers, and they were like, of course, it's got to be 60 FPS. You know what I think was not 60 FPS? That not actually trash ash, but I will talk shit about it till the day I die. That DMC game. Um,
Wait a minute. I think it was
30
that DMC game.
FPS. That game ran at
Wow.
30 FPS, which is a travesty. You can't do that to Devil May Cry. And again,
Hey, look this up.
Google had the call out.
Hey, look this up. I'm reading that Ninja Gaiden 2 was upgraded to 4K 60 frames a second on the backwards compatibility list. Look that up. Look that up. I'm seeing that it was.
Ninja Gaiden 2 Xbox One X versus Xbox One versus Xbox 360.
Oh wow.
Ninja Gaiden 2 4K 60
Yeah,
FPS
on the Xbox One X, it delivers at 60 frames a second.
You might have to pop that in if you got it. If you got a copy still.
I'm on Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's impressive.
That's the original too, right?
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 2, 60 frames a second. That's impressive.
I mean, that's
I
not
like it.
that's not Gaiden or. I mean, that wasn't on Xbox, I guess, right?
Yeah, you know the other one was Sigma.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, but this one, it's backwards compatible. So that's just impressive that they did a BC title from Xbox 360 and made it 60 frames per second. That's impressive. I ain't gonna lie.
They've been crushing that for a long time. I hope that Sony starts doing that, but so far they have not said anything.
I don't think they're going to because it does not benefit them to do so. It does not benefit. They don't have to do that. I've had this conversation many times with people. Sony has nothing to prove. Sony, I mean, and this is nothing against Nintendo. Like Nintendo the goats, but they got their own. They do something different because they can't compete in that space. It's not their space. Like
I think they're going to, and I think that it does do something for them because what they're going to do is they're not talking about it now because they want you to keep buying PS4 games, but if you look at PS4, it's not that many games, right? I
think it was like 2,000. I think they said that like 2,000 games.
No, I mean the games that people like. I got them all. Devil May Cry 5, God of War, Horizon, The Last Guardian, Spider-Man, Uncharted 4, Last of Us.
Dog walked over to
and looked at it.
The case. Look.
So they only have 10 titles that are like the ones. You can go Bloodborne. You can go look at it. I've looked at it several times because I was like, what am I missing on PS4? You can go look at every top 10, top 20 list for PS4. It's the same games, and it's the same ones that everybody is all about. And all they gotta do is take those games, upgrade them for PS5, put them on the digital store, but also let people who have the disc copy play the upgraded copy. Because ethically, they should do that.
Now we're getting back into things that doesn't benefit them.
No, but
they don't have to do that.
But if they want to keep making money off the old games that are there, you upgrade it, you put it on the store.
Then they charge you for a subscription service, and you get it off PlayStation Now.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be an upgraded version. It's got to be an actually enhanced. That Spider-Man game is definitely going to get enhanced to work closer to Miles Morales.
Okay.
But they haven't said that, and they're not going to say that because they're not going to say that until PS5 comes out.
Okay.
Because they want you to keep buying it on PS4.
All right. So we're going to talk about that game in a minute. But this is my point. Sony isn't swimming in oodles of cash like this ain't the 90s. They're not selling because they were an audio company, a video company. They made so much money off other things that conversation could be had about them just selling money and doing whatever the fuck they want to do with PlayStation. I'm pretty sure PlayStation is their number one earner now.
Yeah, they did. They're one of their top businesses. Easy. Just crazy.
So
Sony Computer. Well, I don't know if it's still called Sony Computer Entertainment. I think that they might have merged that into Sony, but yeah.
so with that being said, they have to position themselves to make money. And knowing that they're the goats. Sony's the goat. Like they're the greatest all time. And this is Nintendo's fault that we even here, because when they came to them with the idea, doing the whole, the story, hey man, we're gonna come out with this disc-based console, and Nintendo was like, hey man, fuck you, we're not doing it. And then that's it started from there. They're the goats. All right, when it comes to this shit, they're the greatest all time. They don't have to cater to anyone. You're gonna buy my console regardless. They already know that.
I'm just saying, but those games are their legacy, and it's like,
okay,
they
go play it on the PlayStation 4.
They remaster their old games.
Yeah, but you're gonna buy them again.
I don't know. I don't know if you can
facts.
get away with it anymore.
How? Who gonna stop them? Microsoft.
Digital being convenient. That's what's gonna make
Look, man,
because
y'all gonna buy them again.
You're gonna get this digital console that's $100 cheaper. Oh, and also we failed to mention, after you pre-ordered it and you paid it off, we're gonna upgrade all your PS4 games and they're gonna play way better. But looks like you can't put your disc in there anymore, so you're gonna have to buy that again.
Hey, look, man, look. If you wanna get that PS5 experience, buy it again. You can play your PlayStation 4 version, but it's not gonna take advantage of boom, 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 boom. Right?
I don't know.
And that's how that's how they can play it.
I think that they're gonna take the high road on that one, just like they did. They're gonna play good guys on that one, but they're not gonna do it until closer to launch. Because just like when they did, they were clowning on Xbox last gen, and they were, we're gonna be cheaper. We don't care about all that game licensing stuff. You can just give your buddy the game, he can play it, whatever. I think that
that was simple shit though. That was just Microsoft shit in the bed, bro.
Yeah, but I think that they're still gonna come out and be like, hey, all your PS4 games are gonna be better.
Who was that? Domatic? Wasn't that his name to do the launch Xbox? Was that Domatic?
Maybe. I mean, that was his name. I don't know if it was him or not.
I think he had the worst toupee of all time. Let me look.
He does. He looks like trash.
Don Matrick?
Matrick, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's a bad toupee.
But
okay, look.
Whoever, I don't know who was in charge of that game's launch, but oh my.
He was.
Or that system's launch, but it was
him.
So bad. I mean.
Yeah, it was Don Matrick. So.
That was the end of an entire era for Microsoft, the whole company, because after that they started turning around the entire company.
Yeah, and they put Phil Spencer in charge. That was one of the best decisions Satya Nadella made. Satya Nadella, I think he's the best tech CEO like on earth right now. Like that motherfucker's batting 1,000. I don't know what he's done wrong.
He turned around the biggest company one of the biggest companies in the world.
Like I'm like dog, he ain't did nothing wrong in years. But look, just to get your point of this, Sony doesn't have to do that. And I'm serious when I tell people this. They just don't have to do that. Like they don't have to be nice. They don't have to cater to y'all. They can do what they want because you're gonna buy it regardless. They know you're gonna buy it regardless. Like when the PS3, all right. You know the PS3 outsold the Xbox 360, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, globally.
Okay. Yeah, by 10 million units. Based on the news and based on the feeling of that generation, would anybody believe that they outsold the Xbox 360?
Well, that's because it didn't outsell it in America. But
okay.
It outsold it in every other country.
Everywhere else. Everywhere else.
Also, Chanel said God of War was 30 FPS and it had a sad face. Yes, it was.
Oh, yes, Chanel. God of War was 30 frames a second. And it's disappointing because with that being said, that's acceptable for this generation. Even though there were some games that pushed the benchmarks, like Aaron brought up, actually the one that's 4K 60 frames a second on console, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one is 4K 60 FPS. Okay. Halo 5 on Xbox One X is 4K 60 FPS. There are, I think there's like 3 titles that are 4K 60 FPS on this current console generation. That's not a racing game. I'm not counting racing games. Eat a dick.
Do those
Okay.
are those even native 4K? I feel like they put too much graphics into them things for them to even hit 4K. But
Or you feel like they be checkerboarded or something?
oh yeah, it's too nice. It's smooth, but I mean, it looked real nice. Devil May
But
Cry was not 4K, but Devil May Cry was 60 FPS. That game was smooth. But,
look, and but that's what matters.
which is it's an action game too. But granted, God of War they changed it up. They changed it up a little bit, right? It's not like
Look,
the
man.
old ones were
it
all
need-
smooth and overhead and tons of action everywhere. You needed that frame rate, but they kind of fundamentally changed the game such that 30 FPS was a little more acceptable. But
I mean,
it's
I
still
think look,
the heritage of God of War is still it should be 60.
and like I said, I think it's the best. I think it's the best game of the last console generation. So this is no knock on it for the performance. I just the performance has to get better, man. And I know we've been talking about this for a minute, but like, bro, it is gonna be a sticking point for me because I'm buying a new TV. I'm getting both of these fucking consoles, and if they look, man, if they ship me first party games at 30 FPS, I'm breaking it. And I put that on me. I will break it on the podcast. I will, cause I don't care. I'm good. All right, I'll break that bitch. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You know what I should have put on here? I should have put like a take a break. I didn't do that though. I'm gonna do that real quick.
Podcast break.
I'll throw that on there. All right, I was gonna say though, I do got a couple things I want to hit with you that I did not even bring up to you ever. I got a juicy one too.
Okay, talk that talk. Let's go.
Let's take a break. I'm gonna mute our mics on here. I'm gonna hit the bathroom.
Okay.
Come back. You'll still be able to hear
All
me,
right.
but we'll mute it on the podcast.
All right, handle your business.
bang, when the beat bang, when the beat bang, and you're in the club, when you listen and you feel the thud.
All right.
When the beat
All right,
bang,
what up?
and you're in the club,
We back.
when the beat bang, and you're
Yeah,
in
man,
the
your
club,
boy had to go get that drink.
and you feel the thud.
All right. Did you see? I'm gonna just put it up on this topic right here. Oh man, what do I got? What do I got? Caps lock on? How do I got that?
You fucking it up, bro.
And you see this shit?
Hold on, man.
You got the feed up
Matt
on
Reeves,
Discord.
Matt Reeves Batman series.
They already ordered and confirmed it that Matt Reeves is making the Batman. He's making a series based off of the Gotham City in his new movie, and he is a part of it. And one of the main writers to not The West Wing, not Sopranos, but one of those. It's like Sopranos. Shit.
Hey man, look.
One of the shows, crime drama show, one of the huge big ones. I can't remember what it was. It's another show like that, but they already confirmed it. The movie's not out yet. He's like, I'm working on it with this writer, and I'm excited. And I'm like, another Gotham show. Like, did people really watch that Gotham show that was on?
Look, man. They just trying to figure out how the hell they gonna validate charging people $15 for the HBO, bro. That's it. So
I mean,
so
I
they
know that they're
literally
trying to
throwing-
order anything, but I was like, when I first heard it,
they
I was like,
throwing it.
oh, so they found like some random people to make a show based off of that movie, even though like the director won't have anything to do with it. But the director actually does have something to do with it, and he made a big statement on it. I was like, that's weird, but because that's further expounding on them like fracturing their DC extended universe, their movie universe. Because that movie, they've already said it's going to have nothing to do with anything. So they got that out there, and then they're going to have this TV series that has nothing to do with anything. But then they're also making, they got this other Wonder Woman just came out, and like the Flash is supposed to still have Ezra Miller in it, even after he like punched a girl on video.
Look,
They
have you
are
ever
still a
seen
mess.
Have you ever seen a more non-threatening person be a be a domestic abuse I don't know, the criminal.
I mean, he was just like
He
was
looks
like
so non-threatening.
he was like drunk off of his ass, and this chick was like harassing them all night, and then he was just like, he definitely was not threatening, in that I don't think he even knew how he would attack someone ever, and like that was it. He was like, I guess I'm gonna grab you and then swing you and throw you on the ground. That did not look great, and apparently he's not the greatest person in person either. But
It's so funny because dog, when you see him playing the Flash, he pulls off the total loser thing flawlessly. Like he got it down, bro.
yeah,
That is so crazy that this dude is like into domestic abuse and drinking heavily.
cause like, oh man, I don't think I could drink enough to just like grab a girl. It was like grabbed her for a while and then was like, "Ugh," and just tossed her, man. Like, I don't think I could
Wow.
do that, man. But
That is
so
crazy. Why you got Last of Us on
because
here?
they've already greenlit a Last of Us TV series, HBO with HBO money. No casting.
I mean,
or
it's well
anything yet,
written.
but
It's well written. So it's funny because didn't they do the same thing for Uncharted and it just never happened?
I think the Uncharted movie is still in like development scripting hell, and it's still not there. But
Okay.
but
Because this is where I'm at with
they signed it. You know, when HBO does this stuff, it's coming out. I can't
It's
think of,
certified.
yeah. It's not just like we have an idea to make a movie and these people are shopping it around and it's just gonna get thrown around and then disappear.
Okay.
But
So I'm gonna ask
So-
you as a television watcher. Okay. Now the strongest thing about The Last of Us is the narrative. Like I've told you where I was at. Like out of the PlayStation 4 games that that charted very high on Metacritic, I had God of War, I had Spider-Man. Spider-Man I thought was like super phenomenal too. I thought that what was one with the dinosaurs? What was that called?
Horizon?
Horizon
Yeah.
Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn.
robot dinosaur.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. Also, one of the best games of the generation, right? Those three games I had like pegged as best game of the generation. So when The Last of Us popped up and they called it the Citizen Kane of video games, and I was like, okay, right? I was like, all right, that's really high praise. Like you're saying that The Last of Us matches one of the greatest cinematic experiences in movie history. Okay, cool. All right, let me see what y'all talking about. Okay, so I put it in, and I think I told you this. I was like, look, man, The Last of Us, and this is from a gameplay perspective, so it was weird. I was like, man, it literally does everything that good third-person shooters does bad. Like it does the stealth not great. It does the shooting not great. It does the. I was like, wait a minute, man. So, but the story, I was like, okay, all right, I can rock with y'all, even though it is. How did I say this? I was like, The Last of Us was like, it had like no cultural energy in it at all. That's like the most politically correct way I can say this. Like I was like, bro, it was extremely. I was like, it's like a zombie. It was a zombie story. It was really well written, but it was a zombie story. I was like, bro, I've seen zombie stories like a million times.
Right.
So with that being said, I'm like, well, it's a good game. I just don't. I don't got it pegged as like a 98 on Metacritic. Good. I was like, I think y'all tripping, but
Yeah.
HBO's getting another zombie story.
That's the thing is
Is
that
what I'm
like,
saying.
if you're gonna,
Are we doing this again? We're gonna do this again.
well, that's the thing is that like they haven't done zombies yet, right?
Everybody else did but them.
Right. So like, and if they have to come in, and do zombies, and they haven't done it, and they need something special to make them stand out, I feel like Last of Us is not a bad pull to be like, because it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of unique. The zombies themselves are very unique and pretty terrifying. There's not a million of them. You know, the encounters with them, because of the PS3's performance, probably.
Come on, man. Don't do that. Hey, man.
They made the enemies very strong so that they did not have to render so many of them.
It came out on PS4 too.
Yeah,
It came out on
after the
PS4.
fact. But you know, you'd enter an area and it wasn't about 100 zombies charging at you. It was a cramped area that you didn't know how to get out of with 5 clickers walking around, and if any of them charged at you, you might fucking die unless you use one of your very limited get out of jail free cards. So like my buddy said my background is overdressed. My background is very dressed.
Hey, man. Look, so it's funny. It's funny. We didn't talk about that, and I want you to make your point about this. But you know, I'm in the dungeon. You know what I'm saying, down here, and your boy he in the loft. You know, so I want y'all to see. You know how we getting it. You know, I'm trying to get it out the mud. Aaron chilling, baby. You know what I'm saying? Life is good. Cherry Red Beamer. Life
Hey,
is
man,
good.
This is the product of many years. This is the same game collection I've been hauling around with me around the country for 10 years.
But look, I'm with you. I think HBO gonna knock it out the park. I think they're gonna shit on what's the other one that everybody was watching? Walking Dead. I think they're gonna shit on it just because I feel like the narrative is gonna remain stronger.
Well, and because HBO, I mean, they drew out Game of Thrones for a while, but I would imagine that with this show, they're gonna do 8 to 10 episode first season, and then they're gonna maybe do a second season if the second game can be adapted well. And I don't know how the second game goes. I don't know if it ends or not, but you know, I don't see them trying to make.
It feels like it ends.
Like I don't feel like it's gonna.
Like it ends.
They're not gonna make 10 years of The Last of Us, the TV show. They're just gonna adapt it and do it well and be done with it. And that's why they make good shows in general, is because they usually don't focus on the money. They just focus on making a good show, and then it gets a lot of praise and people watch their shows. But so that's why I'm glad that they landed it, and it also will probably actually happen, as opposed to if somebody said Sony got the rights to the Last of Us movie, and then you're just never gonna see it ever. So like the Uncharted movie.
The Uncharted movie was never a good idea because Uncharted is the opposite of what I think The Last of Us is as far as narrative goes. I think it's very similar. I think it's very similar from a gameplay perspective, which is why I don't see how people don't see the similarities. I was like, look, bro, Uncharted had bad stealth, average shooting mechanics, and you could just hang from white ledges on walls, you know, and just climb up everything. And I was like, look, bro, Uncharted 2 was good, but I was like, man, it's a lot of things about this game. It's just not, it don't add up like to it being what you guys are telling me it is. And I played the hell out of Uncharted. You know, I was just like, man, this shit alright. Honestly, I thought the Tomb Raider games were better. The 2 Tomb Raider games that they made, I thought were better than Uncharted.
Those games got a lot of praise too. They came out later, and they got to do what Uncharted did better. But I mean, really, it's weird because if you think about the appeal of Uncharted, it was just that they were like a movie with a charismatic, wisecracking protagonist, and they had big set pieces. But when you
wisecracking protagonist.
But when you compare it to a movie with a charismatic, wisecracking protagonist and a bunch of big action set pieces, it's not like it's better than those movies, really. And it's kind of just striving to be a movie, but then it's not even that. If it was just a movie, it wouldn't have even been that special of a movie. There wasn't,
like we wouldn't have cared about it.
There wasn't anything really special about them, you know. Especially the first one. It was just, wow, look at how great the graphics are. I can't believe these cutscenes they did, and you know, great. But you weren't actually like, that was a great story. It was very generic. Uncharted 2 was much better, but even then, Uncharted 2 was like, the set pieces were just way better. It had beautiful graphics and really crazy, iconic set pieces and moments. But the story, I don't even remember.
Like
It
running
was
down that building.
it was
When he
the
ran down the building,
yeah.
man, that was crazy.
See, and it's crazy because it's a video game. But I mean, we've seen way crazier shit in movies. Like it was only crazy because it was a technological masterpiece for a video game. But as a movie, it's not really that special. They didn't even try to have a better story, I think, until Uncharted 3, and then at that point, people were kind of getting over it. I haven't played 4 yet. Still, I own it, but I did hear that it sounds like the story of those games are better. But
Four was better. It had a more emotional.
yeah,
It was more emotional. It was more. You can see where they were planting the seeds for The Last of Us. Cause like The Last of Us was very emotional.
hmm
I was just like, it's still just not. Man, how do I say this, man? It just was.
I mean, I feel like and again, even with The Last of Us, I feel like it's a.
It's just no. It was no salt on the food, man. It was no spice. It
But
was
say-
just chicken.
But say you turn that into a movie, I would just say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it was like it wouldn't be
It'd be
like
alright.
the most phenomenal thing in the world. It is, you know what? It is way better that it's a TV series because there's a lot of really dramatic moments, and you know if they recreate those, they're gonna cut them off right before they start at the end of the episode, so that you gotta watch the next episode. And then when the season ends, it's gonna be the end of Last of Us 1, which was like a big deal. And I like that ending. I didn't see it coming. I thought that was cool. I did like that game. And that's where I'm like, they could if they make that season of TV, right? 8-10 episodes. They got little cliffhangers all throughout, and then the season 1's gonna end with the ending of The Last of Us 1, and
I think
people
that twist would kill people.
and
That twist
people
would kill people.
and that's what's gonna hit, right? That's when everyone's gonna be like, I'm in for season 2. And then it's gonna become like a big TV thing, and that's why it's like that's a good pull for them. That's probably why they looked at it and they went, that's the formula.
Bro,
we got it.
that twist, like that twist for people who haven't played The Last of Us, that twist goes against every good guy, bad guy narrative in games. So like Naughty Dog does like this thing where they can isolate one thing about the game and make it ridiculous. So like what you brought up about Uncharted, the set pieces. Yeah, set pieces might be some of the best shit I've seen in the game. Now the problem is everything surrounding the set pieces was alright.
Right.
But the set pieces were ludicrous. Like straight up ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where I feel like they got bit by I'm trying to think of another game. I feel like they got bit by I'm trying to think of the game I was playing, man. Like you was playing in third person and this character was running and jumping everywhere. Oh, Tomb Raider. I feel like the set pieces got bit. Yeah, I feel like the set pieces got bit completely by Tomb Raider, where they was like trying to make these super dramatic, action sequences. And with The Last of Us, man, look, the writing, I felt like it was real vanilla. Like I could see everything coming except for the end.
Right.
And when the end happened, I was like, oh shit.
It kind of made the end even crazier because they were even kind of like building up to the end, and they were like, this choice is gonna have to be made. And then I feel like they kind of made me think, okay, they're gonna do the obvious thing or whatever. They led me into it even more at the end, and then they just bucked everything that they did, and I was like, what? I was like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. See, I gotta play that game, man, and that's why I gotta play it. I just gotta know what, because it's one of the best cliffhangers in video games ever, and I wonder.
No, I think it's the best. I'm serious. I think it's the best.
Because it does still.
I think it's the best because it goes against conventional wisdom, and it puts you in a situation where you feel like no matter what choice gets made, it's fucked up. There's no winning this. Like, it's fucked up.
And then they take the real fucked up. Well,
Yes, no, they did. They took the real fucked
It's
up
not
route.
super fucked up, but they took the personal. They said fuck everybody else. They took the personal route, and now you're struggling with relating to these characters. But I don't know. It was also so good because it was still a climax to that game's story.
Yeah.
Where they legitimately built their way up to getting to where they were at the very end of that game, and then that happened, and then they got past it, and then it was just like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know, but
And, and,
that's
and
why it
then
was
in the
good too, because
second
it
game,
wasn't like they didn't have an ending. It wasn't like fucking didn't Halo 2 do that or something?
yes, Halo 2 was the one that ended with the cliffhanger that everybody shitted on. But then it's funny when you look at Halo 2. Actually, the Halo 2 to me wasn't well written. I think Bungie saved it with Halo 3 because I think Halo 3 was extremely well written, but it fixed whatever happened in Halo 2. And now when I see people talking about Halo 2, they talk about it in hindsight, which is Halo 2 is one of the greatest games ever. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. We hated Halo 2. Wait a minute. I remember.
They had that
I was
gameplay,
there.
but
I was there. Like it did have that gameplay. It did.
and,
Look,
it seems like they phoned it in a bit and they made a sequel, right? So they made it look better. They made it have more four-player, more. They had more everything online, all that stuff. Did
more
Halo 1
gun.
have? I mean, it had good online, had very good online. It was like the online
Halo 1
game,
Halo 1 didn't have Xbox Live access.
right?
Halo 2,
That wasn't until the PC version, I think, that anyone could
yes.
play Halo 1 online.
Yep, correct. Halo 2 launched, and that's why it was really so impressive. It essentially launched Xbox Live. Like it essentially launched
Yeah,
the service.
like that was it. That's what everyone got hooked onto online gaming with. They were playing that Halo 2 and they were talking all type of shit in them lobbies. But
I mean, low key, Halo 2 birthed esports. But that's
Yeah.
like that's
So, like-
that's when Walshy was the best player in the world. Michigan's own. Man, I hope we can get Walshy on the show. Like Michigan's own Walshy. Walshy was the best player in the world.
where was he from?
Michigan-
From Ann Arbor?
I forgot.
Sounds
I just know
sounds
he's from
familiar.
Here. I just know he's from here. Yeah, but he was the best in the world. You know. And then yeah, man. Those was the days, man. Michigan out here making them killers. Them killers.
Yeah, like so that was clearly their focus, and they executed very well on all those other things. But the story was kind of like, I do remember there being a lot of flack about
Yeah, there was a lot of flack about the story.
various
but
stuff.
if you and I'm like, bro, how y'all talking about this in hindsight like that story wasn't? But
Yeah.
I think since they fleshed out the lore,
Well, it's because
people just accept it.
they played the story and everything and for 2 to 4 weeks, and then they were angry about it, and then they played the multiplayer for 4 years and they had a great time. So that's what they remember. They don't even remember when they were bitching about the story of that game. Like,
Well, that's something that's never gonna happen about The Last of Us because they figured out certain methods to take vanilla and figure it out. Cause like I told you, I was like, man, the end, that's it. The rest of this shit, all right, whatever.
I think that's up there with me with Metal Gear Solid 3's ending. I don't know if you ever played that, but
Of course I did. That's the best one.
I mean,
That's the best one.
that's one of the best stories in gaming history.
When he fought boss in the flower field.
And when
First of all,
they hit you
one
with
of
the
the most
revelation
beautiful-
after the fight is like insanity. When he fucking salutes her grave, I just got goosebumps thinking about it right now. Like legit. Like that's one of the best. That's one of those things. It's like when you go back and you watch the Fresh Prince scene when he talks to Uncle Phil about his dad. Just because you were like, that was so good, and I'm just trying to cry real quick. I can do that same thing with Metal Gear Solid 3's ending. Be like, I need to
it was
watch
fucked
that
up.
scene one more time.
That shit was fucked up. And that whole ending sequence, some of the best shit ever. Actually, you know what I think the best You know what I think the best twist in gaming is, actually? I take it back. I don't think it's Last of Us. I think it's Shadow of the Colossus. After you kill the last Colossus. And you find out what you did.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best twist.
I think I was feeling that coming, honestly, from the whole.
I felt bad. I was like, what? I felt like I was out here doing my thing, trying to save everybody, and it's like, nah, bro, you just doing the world, bro.
I think about halfway through that game, I was like, I'm pretty sure these colossi are they're just going about their business right now, and I'm just rolling up in a horse
murdering them
and just killing them. And
murdering
it did
them.
not feel good. I mean, they made you fucking brutalize those things. I mean, you went up into their fucking skulls and had to charge up, and then like blood is shooting out of them and everything, and you had to take them down. Like, oh my god, all because you were just mad because your girlfriend died. I mean, she's dead already, and you just went out and you were like, I guess I'm just gonna kill all these magnificent beasts because they told me I might be able to bring my girlfriend back, and
And I doomed everybody.
that game was sick,
Eternal
dude.
Darkness.
Eternal
Darkness.
I played that game. I own it on PS2 now, but I did initially play it. That was around when I started working at 605. It was one of my few gaming checkout rental games I did because I heard it was short, and I was like, it was still like $40 at least at that time. So I checked it out, and I did beat it in like 10 hours or whatever. But it was, but because of that, I played it dedicated, and I was like, man, this game was crazy.
Bro, one of the best games ever.
I'm glad I experienced it like that too, because really, I don't think that you can to fully appreciate how crazy that game was. You had to play it on PS2 back then.
Yes, you had to play it on PS2 because you had to understand what they pushed. They pushed that motherfucker to the limits to make that game. Like I'm like, bro, there's no way in hell that game should exist on PS2.
And there was something weird about the resolution and the low frame rate that made it feel like it did. I don't know. Like, and they even said that. They always said that was a part of it where when they remastered it, they were like, it doesn't really feel the same at a high frame rate because, I mean, you were struggling and it was kind of blurry. And the blurriness of your old CRT TV kind of made it, you could see it better. And that's kind of how a lot of old things were. You know, all of our movies were...
When they was wagging you and he hanging on, trying to hang on, and you could see the blur.
It really felt like a movie and stuff, and it just doesn't feel like it when you have that full fidelity of being able to see it. You know, it was a part of, and that was a part of the art design when they were designing the game. They were like, the frame rate's bad, but like, it works. You know, this is working right now, and we're gonna keep going with this, and this feels good, and you know, and I just remember thinking that too when I was playing it. I was like, man, like this is so fucking incredible. I mean, I think the moment that I still remember, one of my favorite moments, was when you fought the dude with the big giant sword. He's like on the cover of the fucking remaster or whatever, and when he throws that sword on the ground and you jump on it and you're like, like book it up the giant sword and get on top of him. I was like, man, this is insane, because he was like standing on top of this giant mountain that you had to climb to even get to the top of. And the scope that you saw of it, I mean, that game was phenomenal. And then, you know...
and I'm like, dog, you did all this just to save your girl?
Yeah.
That's so wild, bro. Like, you did all this to save your girl. Like, that's a suicide mission.
Right. Man, he was like, he did the horse wrong too. Didn't the horse die at the end too?
Hell yeah, man. Oh, he did everything died. He doomed everybody. Everybody's dying because of you, man. And you still ain't save your girl.
You know, I haven't played Eco.
Don't, man.
I got the PS3 Shadow of the Colossus Eco remaster.
It's a big ass escort mission, man. Don't do it.
I haven't played the Last Guardian yet either. I do want to play that still, but
I played it.
You know, I bet you it's gonna be on PS5 and it's gonna run at 60 FPS and it's gonna be in 4K. But that sounds like a good artsy one, as long as it's not like super long. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's an artsy fartsy game. It's artsy fartsy.
All right. Oh, real quick. Some other one was you see this it's not too much to talk about, but
About to say, cause we don't even have a transition to the end. Like, how are we gonna end the show?
I don't know. We're just gonna.
Hey, man, talk to you later. Like, how are we doing it?
You see that Miles Morales? You said you were gonna bring it up too before, but you see that box art?
I did. I like it. I wish it was I wish that the box was black, but I'll accept it because it goes with the motif. You know, like the blue outline goes with the motif of the council because they got the blue outline inside the white.
Is there a? It does look like there's a very mild blue outline
Yeah,
around
it's like
the white.
the blue around the outside of the box.
But it looks like there is also a very thin line along the borders of the.
Oh
of the white.
yeah. I see what you're saying.
But
I see what you're saying.
it's very basic. But I mean, I guess it'll line up with your. It looks like it's the same dimensions and everything as the PS5 stuff. It's just gonna be white instead of blue.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
literally the
as
same.
far as
I'm looking at
Microsoft
the other games. It's the same, except the other ones were dark blue with white text, and that's white
As
with
far as
black.
Microsoft goes, they need to reset the whole. They need to detach themselves from Xbox One as much as possible. They need a whole new color scheme on the box. They need all new everything for the box. The box better be the sweetest box. Like if I was them, I'm going all black with the silver. You know what I'm saying? I'm going all in on the all black. It's a funeral. Like, you know what I'm saying? We burying the Xbox One. It's a funeral. You know what I'm saying? I'm going all black with it. You know,
That'd
like
be kind of nice.
yeah, and they need to short stack the box all black with the silver. You know, they need to do everything that they do needs to be like weighty, high production value. Like I need to feel like when I'm like, damn, this is just a game case. This is nice. Like y'all they might have to put the booklet back in the case. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how much respect they need to earn with people. People need to feel like when they buying it, it's a luxury item.
I don't know, man. I think they might. They what's a good example? I think they gotta go back to this right here.
To the see-through green.
That translucent green.
Are you saying they got to take it all the way back? Come on, man.
I like them see-through colors. They still got it with the blue.
They gotta go.
They got it with the PlayStation still doing it.
He said they got to go all the way back to the beginning.
Hey, people like 360.
People did like the 360.
You know, and it wouldn't. You know what? You know what you do too is you go with that green, and then you make the label black. So 360 had all those white, the white silver tops,
yeah,
and you know, the all blacked out with the green box might not look too bad, but
that shit might be hard. No, you're right. That might be hard. But now, as far as this is what I'm gonna say.
And that's Xbox. That's what everyone knows. That's what everyone knows as Xbox. The green case. Come on, that's the 360 days. Everybody knows.
So this the last thing we're gonna talk about before we get up out of here, man. Because I'm glad you brought this up. Because you're right. I did want to talk about this. They need to bring out this game on PS4.
What game?
It will be literally this what we're looking at right now. Okay, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. They need to have a PS4 version of this game. Okay, it will be incredibly insulting. Okay, for them to have 100 million people who own the console, who bought the first one, who can't play it. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, I was like, wow, that does seem like just a legitimate. They can try to sell PS5s with it, but they will make more money by making it available on both. Also, how come the lightning on his fist is so red?
It looked like fire.
I know, it looks like fire, but I had to zoom in when I was looking at it the first time, and I was like, oh, I guess it is lightning, but how are you making it red?
I don't know.
Did you make it blue?
Maybe it's just going with the motif. You know, the black and red. Hey man, motif, man. I feel like I've said motif more on this podcast than I've ever said it. But
at least
man,
this is a lot less jarring than the first Spider-Man box art, but
You talking about with the suit change and everybody was tripping?
it was just
Okay.
like red and then Spider-Man. This one
It's black
a little bit more going
with the
on.
black suit. Actually, low key, it's
got a-
exactly the same.
It's similar, but it's less jarring. It doesn't look as crazy as the other one.
I'm saying, but it's exactly the same. He got
Yeah.
a black suit. He got a black background. Peter had a red suit. He got a red background.
It's got a black gradient though going. It's lighter here. The Miles Morales logo in general is a little more going on. And he has more going on. He's got a freaking electric fist and the web going. Everything. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's a good picture. Where is that web connected to? What is he doing?
I have no idea. Actually, yeah. Now that you saying it, yeah, I think they just threw the web on there, bro. I think they just said, "Fuck it, we gotta have something that represents, the web slinging."
You know what is new though? PlayStation Studios.
Studios.
That's crazy.
Which people should be looking at as a indication for what they might be doing with that streaming service, because they are officially PlayStation Studios. Sony might be getting into some what you call that third party production, man. They might start putting shit out on other things.
I think it's more than. Well, that's true actually. Now that you mention it, because Horizon's coming out, and you know what? They're gonna put PlayStation Studios all over that game whenever they put it on something else.
Just
Gotta tie it back.
Please
Gotta get that
believe.
branding on there. This is still a PlayStation game. We're just letting you have it because you're gonna buy it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Okay, I wanted to hit one thing with you, and I didn't. I think I even neglected to bring it up the last time we talked, but heavier subject. I'll just go ahead and just put it up on
he about to type it
there.
in. Representation in games.
So
Oh shit.
I got
I
got into it with this absolute fucking incel dude on
Okay,
Facebook.
go ahead. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit the dime for this one. 'Cause I remember I had this conversation with Jay before in the store. All right, so let me hear your story.
Well, that's gonna be
because
different in this day and age. I would hope, anyways.
No,
So-
no, cause go ahead. Let me hear
This
the
is
story.
this is about Smash, right? So Min Min just got in the game.
Broken.
Arms. So
Yep, broken.
Arms character.
Mhm.
God damn it! Can I get a nice picture, please? Jeez, oh Pete.
I'm saying my brother Hero was talking about Min Min. Said he was playing with her, and he was like, "Yeah, she don't have no special attacks, but her arms can stretch across the full stage. She can literally punch both directions across the entire stage, and one button is for a left hand, one button for a right hand."
Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, she's a little slower and stuff, and Smash competitive. It gets into it. You can get around it, but so here's the deal: is they teased an Arms character, right? So they were like, we know that we said previously, people that have spirits or assist trophies, they're probably not going to be in the game or whatever. But they kind of threw that out the window when they ran out of characters, for anything. So they said we're going to have an Arms character. They didn't say who. They just said it's going to be one of them, and then it got delayed for a really long time because of COVID, and then release trailer comes out. So Arms' two most popular characters are Min Min and Twintel, and Twintel is popular because she is the first black female character to have any kind of prominent role in any Nintendo game ever. Developed by Nintendo. And she's dope. She's an arms fighter, but her arms are her pigtails. And she just sits back and sips on tea and shit. while she's doing it. And when she was announced and when she came out, I
Gorgeous
mean,
design, by the way. Very gorgeous
yeah,
design.
it's so cool. When she came out, I
Yeah.
mean, people were about it. Everybody was like, "Damn, this is the coolest like Nintendo character ever." She was super popular everywhere. Not really in Japan. Japan's favorite character was still Min Min, but
I mean, we'll have a conversation about Japan later.
right.
Yeah.
But like,
So don't worry about that. For
I
anybody
looked
that
up,
needs to know that, yeah, I got you.
and you know, because this was the discussion of who should be in it or whatever, who you wanted in it, and we had to wait for so long, I looked up all these polls and everything. Every poll that I could find, I found at least like 5. It was always Twintel, Min Min, top 2 by a long shot. So like clearly, it's got to be one of these two characters. So this guy I know, Jad, he's from Ohio. I met him when I was doing my fighting game stuff. He was just a really cool guy that I met down in Ohio, streaming at Seasons Beatings. We talked a whole bunch. I've been friends with him on Facebook. He posts a lot. He likes Super Sentai. He likes like the Japanese Power Ranger stuff a lot, and I'm starting to get into that more, and I've been seeing it and stuff. And he is a gay black man, and
Right.
Twintel, or they finally gets announced, right? They got this big ass trailer. They show every character in arms get knocked out, not getting the thing, get closer. Twintel knocked out Min Min at the very end. I was like, damn, they really did it like that. Like, and then it's Min Min, and then so it gets announced, and then he just posts on his wall.
Go ahead.
And I'm trying to think of
I mean,
I don't want to put words in his mouth as far as how he worded it, and maybe it's still up there, but and I'll try to find it real quick just because it's. When did this happen? This was like. Oh, there it is. Always said. Nothing too crazy. Would have been nice to have an actual black character in Smash Bros. That isn't a costume or some pig demon. That's all I said. Would have been nice. Had an opportunity. Yeah. They had an actual opportunity to put an actual black character. The only one that pretty much they've ever designed. An actual opportunity to put them in Smash Bros.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Which
and
understandable.
The biggest franchise, or second biggest franchise, you could argue. Biggest franchise or second.
Yeah, I mean, it's Smash Bros, right? This is a game that's like, the Detroit community for Super Smash Brothers is like half black. It's similar to fighting games and stuff. It's like it resonates with that community, and they have a massive fan base within people of color across the world. I mean, it's huge in Mexico. It's huge in South America. It's huge in like it's big in a lot of different places, and they do have fans in these different cultures, but it's Japan. So
that's a different conversation.
So, dude, I told you he is a gay black man. People know this. These people are his friends. These people are in the fighting game community. And I start reading through the comments on this thread because that seemed perfectly reasonable to me. A black person that was finally like, wow, they have an actual opportunity to put a black character in Smash Bros. I can play Smash Bros with a black character. And Smash Bros is not. It's bigger than these franchises, right? Smash Bros made Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem does not exist in the capacity that it does today without Smash Bros. It brought it to America.
It literally brought it here. Yes, people cared. People cared to play it because of that. Yes. So
I said, Martin, Roy, who are these swordsmen? These dudes look cool. How come we don't have this game? And then they were like, oh, here you go. And now we've gotten every single game.
I mean, honestly, it brought people's attention to the Mother series.
Yep.
They
put Lucas in it. They put Lucas in it from Mother 3. We still haven't got that game, and people still want it. But
people asking for it because of Smash Bros. So
go
okay. ahead. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what you're getting at. Go ahead.
So all right. So first comment. It's this guy. Understandable. He says who though, because there is a big well, for one, who though, obviously Twintel, but there's a big discussion about it because it's like, well, they don't really have any characters that qualify or whatever. Twintel was the one that qualified, but second comment, GIF of Goku Black. Are you serious? Like, did you go to a Black Lives Matter protest with a sign that said Black Lives Matter with a picture of Goku Black on it? Like, get out of here, dude. Like,
look, man, that's I guess if you're gonna ask my opinion on things like this, it pretty much always goes as such across the board. I have an expectation for these things, right? So I never am surprised because I'm always like, well, look, man, what else did you really expect people to do? You know what I mean? Like, I'm more surprised when things do happen. I'm surprised when I see 343 secretly try to, because I don't know if people notice this, Halo 5, Agent Locke, right? Now, he had a more prominent role in Halo 5 than Master Chief did. So I could catch on to what they were doing. Like, oh, y'all trying to low key write this story out where Master Chief eventually kind of, and then you move this guy in. And y'all trying to do it smooth like that's surprising. Like, this ain't surprising, bro. I mean, it's Japan.
well, I mean, and it is, but it's like, what it came down to for me, okay, well, so for one, it was just my utter surprisingness of people being like, yeah, me too, but Min Min's cool too, I guess. And he was like, no, it's not. But she's cool too, I guess. She doesn't have any representation about her really, but just discounting what he was talking about, which was representation.
Yeah, like what he's saying is valid.
And then
Nintendo, I'm sure we'll hear this from a lot of people, and then we'll see if they make a decision on that. But I'm not surprised.
Next comment, another white guy like Dudley, and then he posts a link to an old YouTube cartoon from like 2008 probably, of a bunch of super racial stereotypes of like a cartoon somebody made of Dudley ordering fucking fried chicken or something from some restaurant or something. It's like, do you like, this must be your one, are you aware? This must be the one black person you know, and like you think it's funny to like bring up stuff like this. I like, what in the world? And then this person, excuse me, sir, but they do. I've been using him the entire time. And he posts a picture of Mr. Game & Watch. I'm like, what?
Look, I'm not
just openly racist. What are you talking about?
People just look, man. That's the nature. That's the nature of these things. I get his point, and no.
I mean, and God bless his soul, because he's still kind of angry at some of these comments, but he would still say, I don't know if you're trying to be funny or not, but no. And then Game & Watch, I know you're trying to be funny, but this isn't what I'm referring to. I can't believe, I mean...
Does Nintendo have any lead black characters?
No, but that's a different discussion. It's more about, this was their first...
Yeah. Opportunity.
And one of the only ones they're going to have probably for another decade.
Yep.
This dude said Inkling, Ganon. Ganon's
not black.
Middle Eastern. He's not black.
Inkling
not black. There's a reskin. One of the Inkling has 8 skins of 8 completely different Inkling models, and one of them is black. But the main ones are not.
Isn't
it's not, that doesn't count.
I mean, isn't one of the I thought one of the ice climbers had a black model or something too.
No, like one of the Animal Crossing villagers does. They're like, I've been using this guy, but that's not a black character. That's a customizable character that has a black option. It's not an actual black character.
Not the same.
So I go, these comments are garbage. What the fuck? LOL. And I just said Twin Tail was a major diversity miss by Nintendo. And, that sat there for a while, and he was just like, I agree, it was a miss. And then this dude came back like, I don't know, 2 weeks after I posted that and started this whole conversation with me. I had to block him eventually. We went on and on and on, and he devolved into calling me a simp and all this other, every other. He was like, you probably like The Last of Us 2 or something, and Overwatch. I was like, oh boy, white person who's very threatened by things that acknowledge that people are different from you. But I was just like, trying to explain to him. So for one, he tried to be like, well, Min Min's Chinese, so she's the first Chinese woman in the game, and that's a diversity thing. And I said, listen, he tried to call me a racist for saying this.
I mean, that means you don't know anything about like Eastern Asian culture.
I called her a blonde, noodle-haired white waifu because that's what Min Min is. Min Min is not a Chinese character. She is a pretty racially stereotyped Chinese character by Japanese developers. And I'll put her image up on here right quick. She has blonde hair, so that's not very Asian in any. But they're noodles. They're like noodles from noodles. Okay, so her hair are noodles. That is better than her hair being blonde. The fact that she's her hair is made of noodles. That's great, I guess. She's got all these dragons. Her whole motif is Chinese dragons.
Yep. She got the dragon.
What was
she got the symbolism?
What was the last one? It was something about the symbolism and something else, and it was like, really, this is just a bunch of Chinese stereotypes. Her eyes are green.
Yeah,
like, there's not a lot.
It's a bunch of tropes that they put into one character.
And they call her the ramen queen or the ramen master or something, and they spell it like ramen. Ramen is a Japanese noodle dish. It's not called that in China at all. That is very much the Japanese noodle dish name. So and they're like not even getting it right. Like it's mostly like a mixture of Japanese stuff mixed with Chinese. Like she's not a rep for diversity. There's no Chinese person who's like, oh great, we got a character with a bunch of dragons slapped all over, and her hair is made of noodles. Great, like it's not good representation.
Plus, you gotta have an understanding of like how the animators, in the East, like draw themselves as far as representation. So like all of those characters really realistically represent them. Because of how they view themselves. Like if you watch anime, if you read manga, if you look at any of the characters and how they're designed, like at no point ever are they designing the characters and not seeing themselves as Japanese or Chinese. Like that's not the intent.
It's usually designed around like their culture and.
Yeah, man. It's never drawn to be like, oh, this is a European dude. I'm like, no, it's not. In their eyes, he's Japanese. Like. That's just how they view it. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, like you getting too wrapped up in the nonsense. Like, so, yeah, you're right. But like I said.
And they're getting there. It's like.
What's the expectation?
So like, Min Min that's not great if you're actually trying to do Asian representation. But Twin Tail at least was not bad. She had a big butt.
And it wasn't over the top. Yeah, it wasn't over the top with what,
Because
I think the
Japan's already had their bad history with putting black characters and stuff.
Like Mr. Popo?
Yes. They just made blackface characters for
like right
years.
Off the top. I can pick one right off the top.
There's another one in One Piece that they had to
Oh yeah. Yep, they had to straighten that up.
So like
I'm a big One Piece fan.
Yeah, like they've come a bit further, at least with black representation in their stuff, but and I was trying to make the argument that if diversity was even a part of this discussion, they would have went with Twin Tail. Easy. They would have been like, we got to put Twin Tail in. It's a black woman in the game that has global appeal,
and a following.
And it's for a game, ARMS. maybe Min Min is overall the more popular amongst the arms players, but that's not. You're about to put this out there as a new character in a game that's much bigger than arms. Um, he tried to tell me, well, go play arms if you want to play as Twin Tail. It's like, go tell that to somebody back in the Smash Brothers Melee days. Well, just go play Fire Emblem if you want to play as Marth. Nobody played that shit. I want to play Smash Bros. I don't want to fucking play whatever.
And to do with popularity because nobody played Fire Emblem.
I mean, Smash makes games and
Shit.
characters. I mean, people start liking actual characters and stuff because of Smash and not from whatever they came from. Like, it's bigger than most games, and that happens all the
Ain't
time.
nobody like F-Zero either.
Right.
Real shit.
It'd be dead.
Everybody
But
like
people still
F-Zero
like
either.
Captain Falcon. But I love Captain Falcon.
Ain't nobody like, and I don't know how. I'm still trying to figure out how Luigi kept getting games too. Like, I was like, dog. I remember we used to hold Luigi's Mansion. Like, wait a minute, y'all like this?
Right. It's got 3 games.
Like, I was like, I thought it was a joke, but
But
it is what it is.
I was just
man.
like, if they ever thought about it, they would have went for it. And now because they didn't take it, you're not gonna see a black character in Smash they're gonna have to make another character until they make another character. Until Nintendo makes another character that could
Man,
make
maybe-
it into the game.
Maybe you'll get 2 arms characters, man. Maybe if people make enough stink about it, you'll get 2 arms characters.
No way.
Just like you got multiple Fire Emblem characters, you got multiple Mother characters. Shit, you got multiple Metroid characters now.
Absolutely not. It's gonna be Lara Croft. We're gonna get maybe some Master Chief, maybe some
The new Laura or
Crash
the old
Bandicoot.
Laura?
Probably both. New Laura with the option to have her in her less scantily clad alternate outfit of the old design.
I think that's what they should do. I actually am surprised Master Chief's not in it yet.
It's either gonna be that or Minecraft Steve, man. I mean, that's the biggest game of all time.
I'd be cool with Minecraft. I'd be cool with Minecraft. Minecraft makes sense.
So,
But
like,
I'm really surprised Master Chief's not. Just based upon gaming icons, we don't have that many. I think we got
There's not a
you got
lot left.
Mario. Yeah, you got Mario. You got Master Chief.
Dude, no, you got a million, and they're all in that game already.
You got Kratos. You got Ryu. Like, you don't have that many. Like, it's like you can really name them. Like, icons, like true icons. Like, you put the picture up, they move the needle. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know how many we really got.
No, man, there's way more than that. What are you talking about? So
You know what I'm saying you got Link. You
outside
got
of,
like,
no, dude, outside of Nintendo, they already have in this game Mega Man, Pac-Man, Sonic
now the funny
Hedgehog.
thing, the funny
Cloud.
thing about bringing up, the funny thing about bringing up certain people, like if I gotta look at the numbers for the last Mega Man title that released, I don't know if Mega Man's moving the needle like that no more. He's a
Right.
legend.
But that's the thing. It's like you're talking about like the. I mean, even just all-time icons. So many of them are just already in this game, which is crazy. Solid Snake is in this game. I mean,
Yeah, no, and I guess and that's really what I'm referencing. I'm referencing people that's
Ryu,
like,
Ken, Cloud,
like if you bring out a game with this
Simon
character
Belmont,
on the box,
I mean-
yeah, like if you bring out a game with this character on the box, like is this game pushing 5, 6, 7 million units?
right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really what I mean. Like I know for a fact they can announce a Mario game tomorrow. We don't gotta have no hype. They can announce it tomorrow. They can be like, it's coming out Friday, and I should expect to see in a month it's pushed 2 to 3 million units. You know what I'm saying? It's a Mario game. Like Mario gonna sell 2, 3 million off the top.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's really what I'm getting at. It's like we don't have that many characters in gaming anymore where it's like, hey man, if you put this guy on this box, it's selling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's selling. And it's
They got 5 characters left. I do feel like the stuff that they're missing is the Sony Legends,
Yeah.
and like Master Chief. So the Sony
need
Legends
Crash.
aren't even all Sony owned anymore. But there's no Crash, there's no Spyro, no Kratos, and then on the Microsoft side, and no Tomb Raider, who's also kind of a Sony
Yeah.
legend, but not actually.
Tomb Raider really
Um,
would be just based on like where she came from.
hmm And then and yeah, no Master Chief. I don't know what else. And Minecraft Steve.
I'll take Minecraft Steve though. Minecraft Steve would fit.
I think that like even if us older dudes wouldn't be super excited, I mean, you can't.
Minecraft
biggest-
Steve needs to be in the game, bro.
it's the
it's the
biggest
highest selling all
game.
time, right?
Of all time.
Yeah, he has to be in the game.
Every person probably at this point, 25 years or younger, has played Minecraft Like, on something. So, and their you know their player base does extend into those younger ages, and that just seems like a no-brainer. It would sell like crazy.
How do I talk to you for this long every time we do one of these?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's 2:30. I'm like,
this isn't even as crazy as a week ago, man. That was
no,
ridiculous.
you're right. Like last time, last time we was out here.
It
I
had
think
been a
we've
minute though.
Hold on. Okay. I just saw something up top. But hey, man, we got to figure out an ending.
This is it right here. You pull up.
This the ending?
You pull up the music. And you say, "All right, well." I mean, I do watch a lot of podcasts, and it does usually seem like they're just like, "Well, how long we been going for? All right, well, we should wrap this up."
Hey, man, it's a good pilot, man.
What is my?
Actually, I had a lot of fun. Actually, I did.
Yeah.
I got to get a new bottle of Don Julio for next week.
Yeah, I need to get. I got some ideas for logos and stuff, and I wanted to play around with them a bit. I recently pulled out my tablet to. I was thinking about getting back into trying to make this Captain Falcon cartoon that I started a long time ago. But yeah, I wanna throw some concepts out for some logos and try to come up with something and develop a brand out of it. But yeah, I mean, I figured out all the tech that I wanted to figure out. You wouldn't. I really wanted you to be able to watch it in Discord, no lag, hear videos, and figured all that out. So I think we got some good tech going.
Hey, man, I think we good to go, man. It's and it's gonna be exciting, man. You know, I'm gonna come up with a corny catchphrase ending. You know, I guess for now, I'm gonna do the walk off screen to the music playing. Tell everybody peace. Thank you for tuning in to the pilot episode, and me and my man Aaron, man, we gonna definitely touch on massive subjects. Like, I got a whole list, man. We ain't really even touched it, man.
Can't even look at it, or we wouldn't stop talking.
We'll be here till 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, thank you for tuning in to the Third Key podcast. Peace.
Yeah, man. Third Key. See ya.